Potato and JPL, they're the veterans of the team. They've been here for the longest times. But again, like Gideon said, we have to put focus on Potato, where before this, he always plays the marksmen. But as we've heard, as we've seen, he has made his hero pool bigger. Now he's capable of playing some fighters in the jungle. He can play some assassins in jungle.
Yeah, in the absence of the old guard from EVOS SG like Soul and Pokemon, a lot of this rides on Potato now.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a veteran. He's always going to be a heavy leader, but he's also got the backup of JPL. But I really want to talk about both Adamir and as well as Gear, both of which are having to fill up really big shoes. Adamir being in the scene for a really long time, and Gear working with EVOS since Season 7. They're going to be going up against CU soon, some of the most mechanically talented. And as you mentioned, they started from the grassroots. They're aggressive, they're young, and they're absolutely hot-blooded.
Led by Ember, we also have Felix, Run, Hoove, and Boxy. Do note, the last time we saw them on an international level, that's the MPL Invitational, couple months ago, if not just a month and change. Very, very recently, they played a lineup that was very different. They did not put Hoove in the jungle. They actually put Run in the jungle. And that boggles me. It tells me that maybe they're keeping cards close to the chest. They're willing to experiment a little more before the World Championships. And now, I'm glad that they're bringing their MPL KH lineup. This is see you soon at their prime.
Yeah, right now, champions against champions. The thing that I like Cambodia in general, right? We've seen their MPLs. They like to fight. They like all of the skirmishes. We've seen yesterday methodical kind of play, playing a game of chess. They like to play, I would say, boxing. They just go to the front. I'm going to punch you in the face. And when you punch me in the face, I'm going to dodge. And I'm going to punch you again.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's the aggression. It's about constant pressure. And some teams can handle it, especially the more experienced teams. But I think this is a great matchup to kind of set the bar for the rest of today, right? Because EVOS is that veteran team. They can withstand a lot of pressure. When they're having a good game, it's very clean. It's very methodical. You know exactly what they want to do. However, See You Soon, on the other hand, their objective is a little bit like Torak. They're not trying to divert eyes. They're trying to take you and hold you by the hand and maybe crush your fingers at the same time.
I'm wondering how Coach Jungin here of EVOS SG is going to respond to that, because based on a little more intel, again, from the locals, from the MPLSG stalwarts here in their home court, Youngin was an import from another MPLSG team, and he led this squad from Season 1 to Season 2 after being imported into another championship, a back-to-back. And from what I hear, he doesn't even really play ML that much. He studies the game, yes, and he understands it on a fundamental level.
Yeah, but this is one of the situations where a coach is really tested, right? Because, sure, you can do well in your own country, right? Because there's a limited amount of teams that you have to study. But bringing international teams, you have to adjust to every single team out there. Right now, a little bit smaller group of people, right? Na'Vi, BTK, as well as See You Soon. But we do have to see the adaptability as well as mostly adaptability, because we've seen the draft so far. We've seen a few heroes making it well on the stage of M3. Ruby has been looking very good. Lilia has been looking very good. Beatrix, amazing. So again, we have to see, can they adjust, or will they fall to the ground?
Well, I think we also can look at the stats to kind of like buff ourselves up here, because knowing how Singapore likes to play, Ruby has been one of those better picks where you're saying, hey, we're not trying to pressure that top lane, we're trying to brick wall them out as long as possible and still provide that level of utility later on into the mid as well as the later stages of the game, which is something that See You Soon. I mean, if they get a Ruby, I'm guessing that it's going into that support role, not into the EXP lane, because that would just be boring for them. And I feel that these new kids on the block, they'll be like, I need more kill pressure. I need something that can help me invade your jungle. Benedettas is something that I want to keep an eye out for later on.
Yeah, Boxy is looking to play that Ruby, who's sitting at 100% win rate. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But for now, for those of you guys watching at home, might I remind you, you can also catch the M3 World Championship live on MeWatch from the 6th of December all the way till the 19th, when we crown another M Series champion. You can win various in-game rewards while doing so. What are you waiting for? Switch on to MeWatch and watch EVOS SG take on See You Soon right now. That match coming up very shortly.
Yeah, and right now, again, before we go into the draft, right, I want to be surprised again. I actually want to see EVOS SG starting off the pressure. I want them to be the aggressor, because usually when we see Cambodian teams, they're more proactive rather than reactive. I want them to force things out. And okay, because we talked about this before. It's kind of like rock, paper, scissors, right? Where the Cambodian teams, they want to be the early aggressors, where Singaporean teams, they like to be reactive. I want them to switch it up, and I want to be surprised both in the draft as well as how they
こんにちは。
I want
ちょっと離
kills
席して
before
ました。
the 2-minute mark.
聞こえます
That's a
か
tough call. It really is a tough call, especially against See You Soon, because I feel like no matter what, like, yes, they fight fire with fire, but I think it's also going to come down to discipline, actually. One of the few things that really costed a lot of one of the bigger games in MPLI, especially with See You Soon, was their lack of patience in terms of their timings of the fight. And we know the meta right now is heavily determined by this tempo. It's about picking and choosing your fights and really pushing your aggression when it is only necessary.
Yep, finding a single turnaround could just end it all. And I'm guessing for EVOS SG to come out on top to secure upper bracket, they gotta play that the way they're comfortable. They need to find when potato is safe. They need to say, okay, mid is good, JPL, am I clear? Let me finish. And maybe play on See You Soon's weakness that maybe they're feeling some performance anxiety. It's their first time out on a global stage like this. So we saw over day 1 and day 2 that when physically you can see that the player is just not comfortable, it affects their gameplay. So maybe See You Soon can get over that. If not, EVOS SG will take advantage.
Hugely. And I mean, you know the fact that EVOS SG has the track record for it. Some of their games, especially in the grand finals against RSG.
Yeah, thank you.
Has just been first couple of games, 40 minutes. Last couple of games, 11 to 10 to 12 minutes. That's how much fluctuation. They are comfortable playing for the hyper late game, and they are comfortable playing for the earlier stages of the game.
Yeah, and when we're talking about hyper late game, the heroes that I'm looking at, Beatrix, Farsa, Eve, Lilia, these kind of heroes can really push you to the edge of the game itself. Especially, it's going to be very, very dangerous in the Lord fights. So I kind of want to see Beatrix getting banned out. Farsa, Eve, maybe, but the thing is, we've seen a lot of Hayabusa bans, a lot of lane bans, and I feel like in the first matchup of the day, I think as a player, I want to play a longer game. Because I want that warm-up. I want to be comfortable on stage, right? Because, as you said, jitters. And if we play a faster game, then you're going to have pressure on the enemy team. The enemy's not going to be comfortable. You're going to end it quick. So we need a plan B. We need at least one person, a Beatrix, a Farsa, an Eve, Lilia. Doesn't matter. As long as there's one person that can slow down the game, because we have to see Mobile Legends Bang Bang has evolved throughout the years. Now there's so many comeback mechanics, Leo.
Yep, and just hearing the heroes that you ran through, you mentioned the bans, there are a couple of standouts in the statistics that we have come through throughout the couple days of competition, and that's the fact that Yusun Shin and Selena are at 0% win rate. I find that baffling.
That is. It's quite shocking, in a matter of fact, because we're so
mountain shocking.
Well, yeah, mountain shocking, as they say, the highest heights bring down to the lowest lows, and we're used to it. I think it's one of those things where, Mobile Legends is one of those games where we have patches every single 2 weeks, And that's something that people need to continue to remember. It's always evolving, it's always moving forward, so you really have to stay on top of what is good in the meta, whether it be a minor change or a major change. However, despite the fact that we've been talking about experience all this time, let's not forget that both Paragon as well as Prom the Manager has played with Impunity KH during M1. So that same experience might be what will temper the steel of the Cambodian representatives to play a little bit more, well, I don't want to say hyper-aggressive, but at the very least controlled aggression.
Yeah. I'm guessing confidence too.
Yeah, experience is great, but Leo, again, I want to see EVOS evolving. Get it? Evolving? No, okay, seriously, because we've seen them play for a very long time, and I would say EVOS, they're very open to newer things, but I really want them to, I keep emphasizing this, I want them to be unpredictable, because the moment the Singaporean teams, they become predictable, I kind of feel like See You Soon, BTK, Na'Vi, they can dissect that very easily.
And that puts EVOS SG in such an interesting position. Unlike Indonesia, the Philippines, and Malaysia, their MPL is very new.
Yep.
But still, it's something that CU can study. On the other hand, CU barely has their first MPL and MPLI. There's very little intel. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Maybe it's a level of unpredictability. Maybe it's that surprise factor.
これの年齢
But how
話され
will
ま
CU
した
soon adjust to that, given that we know how they are? We know that they're willing to come up face to face. Reminds me of the way Todak played yesterday. It's a Khmer
てか
version
今俺
of
普通に
the
映
Todak
ってた
Langgam.
わ
Yeah, no, it definitely is, and I think they're probably not going to try and divert eyes this time, but I think it's definitely going to be something of a bold statement,
こんにちは
even for the side of CU soon. But I think one of the few things that we can take away from this matchup, and I think it's not just us here and the world stage and all the viewers at home watching both EVOS and CU soon play, but it's also going to be BTK as well as CIS's representatives, Na'Vi, watching this matchup and studying what they can.
焼き
Because
そば
both of those regions,
焼き
it's
そば
hard
食い終わ
to
ったら
get
行きますかじゃ
information, at least with Cambodia as well as Singapore. Yes, very early in their MPL lineup's history, but there is more than enough information to learn from.
Yeah,
そう
knowledge
今
is power.
鏡
Knowledge
が
is power,
か
and they're both
鏡代わり
coming
で
in
使って
with
た
relatively, cocked and loaded
鏡あるんだ
firearms.
けどさすぐそこに
It's not at all an LMG or a rocket launcher, but they're ready to aim and fire. It's-
Unless Beatrix is there.
う
You
ん
have
ポテ
all
チ
of
食べ
them.
てた
True.
Plus some more.
True.
I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly Beatrix has a sword or something.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Right.
Like revamp after like a year or so,
Yeah. Suddenly she's like an Alucard.
or like a Yusin Shin.
Oh yeah. Exactly, like a Yusin Shin.
よかった変顔してなく
She's
て
very greedy. She wants all the artillery and the non-art. Yes, that one.
Yes, we've
Yes,
gone
you
back
get
and
that.
forth about EVOS, SG, and CU soon as players. We've mentioned a little bit about heroes, and across this whole conversation, Beatrix keeps coming up. So what's the call here? Do we ban out Beatrix, or do we let her through? Because over the course of a couple of days, they must have seen something. There must be some Achilles heel to this hero.
I feel like Beatrix is a problem because let's look at the facts and what Beatrix can do. Number one, she can be a
これ
little
で
greedy.
顔出してな
Number
い
two,
系
she
の
can
配
clear
信者だ
lanes
ったら
very
終わ
well.
ってた
Does
な
that show you she's good in the early game? She's good in the late game. Range? She has range. And for some reason, because she has a shotgun, she can actually play close range as well. She can push
Japan,
the turret very
M4.
fast. The damage
Yes.
on Renner is amazing. On Wesker is amazing. So I feel like she has a little bit too much in her kit, and I think it reflects on her win rate, which is around 80%, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so you're saying better ban her out. Is that the safe way to go? Gideon, your
It's-
thoughts?
Yep, definitely. First phase ban, it's definitely going to be worth it. And I think the most important thing is, like, yes, she does have all these capabilities, but one of the more annoying things, especially if you are going to be the drafting master or the coach in this particular situation, is that she's flexible. Throwing her into the mid lane has been a very effective strategy for a lot of the teams out there based on what we've seen so far in Group A and especially in Group B. It has taught us a lot in terms of how much control since we haven't seen her for a long time in professional play.
Yeah, and the thing about heroes, I love it when people say like, oh yeah, this hero can be countered and everything like that, especially as an analyst. I do agree. Every single hero, if you look at it long enough, there is a glaring weakness and it is something that you can exploit. However, this is the world stage. This is professional play. Even though they have a weakness, it's very easy to cover up. One of those heroes is Ruby. In case someone says like, oh yeah, just take a fighter, go to the back line and have it on Beatrix, right? Lapu, Assassins, and we see Hayabusa and Link keep getting banned. But if Ruby is at the back line, playing that support role, don't run away, Wolf King. You're not gonna get away. And if you try to get away, then she can just pull you back. It's just a combination of a lot of things. And I hear that people are like, yes, it is counterable, but having one hero gives you a massive advantage. I feel like that is ban-worthy.
Yeah, so we brought up Beatrix. It went slightly towards Ruby. Maybe Ruby a little more willing to be open. You kind of need to save your bans for those Hayabusas, those Lings, those Eves.
Oh yeah, Eve, yeah.
But there's another couple of heroes that I want to bring up that's currently sitting at 50%, and that's the Yuzhong and the Farsa. Where do we sit? Usually you combo these two. They're not worth first picking. You kind of want to put them here in the double on the red side. What are your thoughts, Lefel?
Okay, my thoughts on Yuzhong especially. Yuzhong is almost situational. I would agree that Yuzong is good in most situations. However, he performs the best when you can definitely see that the enemy wants to play a heavy backline hero. They want to play double marksmen, they want to play something like a Farsa, like an Eve. That is where Yuzong will shine the most. So I get why Yuzong is maybe picked a little bit later, especially because the EXP lane, you're kind of spoiled for choice.
No, I mean, spoiled for choice or not, I do think that Farsa is still a very viable pick overall because I think one of the few things that people really like to see is how Eve is so strong right now, and that's where everybody's eyes are going to be on. Farsa skills especially well.
これは M3 っていう1年に一度今行われている世界大会。
And that's why the wings by wings. Most people, every single time you see an MPL
こんばんは、はじめま
at
す。
some
こんばんはね、
point
こんに
you
ちは、
can
は
get
じめ
that
ます。
screenshot of Yuzong just flying in, and there's this little speck of a bird just trying to get away at the exact same time. Happens everywhere, guaranteed.
Yeah, it's comedic almost.
Yeah, it is. It's hilarious.
And that's a nice interaction, a dynamic. It's a relationship between these two heroes that's currently sitting at 50-50. Picked a handful of times currently in the group stage of M3. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 seconds away from the draft. I just noticed Gear is such a young man. Gear is... Oh my God, Gear looks like he could be friends with a majority, classmates of a majority of the folks at See You Soon. He's so young.
Well, here's the thing. When you're young, your mechanics are amazing.
On point.
On point. And the veterans, they're more there to make sure you
Shina-san,
stay
which
disciplined, right?
team
Because
are
there
you
are moments, especially in the later stages of the game,
supporting
we
MC?
cannot stress how important it is for
Indonesia.
the later stages of the game that you cannot die. You cannot be out of position. You can't be in a weird bush where you're suddenly get caught out by 4 people. So, See You Soon, a lot of young players, we will definitely see a lot of flashy plays, but we do have to see, can they be disciplined against EVOS SG, especially in the later stages of the game, where again, Singapore has shined the brightest.
Yep, I think the answer to that question and a whole lot more will come up in the draft. These two teams, they want to make sure that...
あ、やべ、やらかした。
One as proven
なん
by
で日本枠
the
なかったんですか、
events
長寿
of the
いろい
previous
ろで。いや、
days.
多
Day
分
1 and day 2 were so emotionally
大会、いや、それもあるのかな、わかんないけど、
taxing,
Oh yeah.
stressful. I can
多
only
分
imagine what
ね
it's like、
大会が
for
なさすぎたのがあるんじゃないかな。
that was very unsensitive of me to say yesterday that for Onyx Philippines it was weird. But now, back into the match here. EVOS SG on the play. See You Soon answering back. They're already taking a few magic-based heroes away from See You Soon's pool. That's Nathan and Amon banned by EVOS, and then there's the Eve banned by See You Soon as well as the Obvious.
Interesting. So far, I mean, it's looking really, really good. See You Soon just following to with color code. If they ban out Selena, it kind of, you know, it makes a perfect purple. That would have been absolutely delicious here. Probably not the play, but let's see. EVOS, they're getting rid of the Cho as well. Again, aggressive compositions. They're trying to minimize his effectiveness. People who can pick people off, isolate the fights, and more importantly, make big plays.
Yeah, right now looking at See You Soon's ban, they want to ban out heroes that can control very well, because we know that Phobius, especially when there's no Esmeralda in the game, it's going to be very difficult to take him down, and it limits you from using your dash abilities, including your flicker. And Eve, as we said, is quite a staple ban, same as Hayabusa, and EVOS SG wanting them to deal a first pick, which is pretty normal.
Yeah, it's pretty normal.
Pretty normal.
Go ahead.
Hi
It's open.
again.
They played
Hi.
for this. They're willing to go for the trade. What else is out there on the other side? See You Soon. They can go for the Farsa. They can go for the Ruby. Oh, those two are power picks. They can go for the Florin. LaFell.
Florin hasn't been doing well. All right, I'm excited to see this hero, but at the same time, we got to look at numbers. Hasn't been doing the best. However, pairing up with
ルビーの評価やっぱ高いな。
100% win rate, this is, you know, the first 2 picks pretty okay. I personally think that Florin could be taken a little bit later,
Yeah.
but oh well.
Could skew the numbers. Could help pull up that Florin win rate too.
I mean, that's a possibility, but personally, I think that, you know, Beatrix would have been great for either one of these sides, and I think for EVOS especially, this is a high consideration. They can pick it up for themselves and hold them
コロナはある
hostage,
かもしれ
hold
ない、
Season
やっぱり。
hostage for a little bit, but instead,
でもあとやっ
they're
ぱ
gonna
ト
go with something that
ーナメント
reliable,
が一切なかったの
comfortable
も
picks.
あると思う
Very
な。
comfortable
公式が一
on
回も
this,
大会開い
on
てな
this
いから。
Brody. We're also seeing a quick new pickup from Potato, who's been performing
だから
especially well
他に盛り上がり
in
そうな
the
国を
Big question though,
取
Clint
ったんじゃないかな
versus
今
Brody.
回
This was the big question
モバレをもっ
in
と盛り上げるため
Group
に。
A.
Oh, are we expecting Clint to show up here?
だから今年大会頑張って開き続けてたら枠あるんじゃない？
Just went under the radar because if it had to go through second phase, it would be so odd that we did not mention the Paquito. So Paquito solid pickup here, closing up the first phase. See you soon. Now on the ban coach.
BTK
Here thinking of what he can take out, and there's the Esmeralda. Still clearly no XP laners for EVOS SG, so they're just closing that gap.
Yeah, and right now I'm looking at EVOS's draft.
Your team is banning.
It's risky, but it's good. Because let's look at the Karina. Karina likes a lot of people being in front. The higher HP you have, the tankier you are, the more surprising her damage is going to be. However, for See You Soon, they have a lot of crowd control over here with the Paquito as well as the Ruby. And as of right now, it kind of does look like the Paquito is going to the jungler role. So we're looking at a little bit more aggression coming from them. So I hope, based on the draft right now, we're going to look at something very, very strong earlier on. See You Soon right now, they ban out the Selena as well as the Esmeralda, which does kind of show me that they don't want to
てかこれピック画面見えないんか。
They want to control the bushes very well.
Yeah, I was about to say the fact that they picked up this
試合始まったら
mid lane powerhouse or like a okay gold laner in the Brody. They want to close that gap. They want to take out that Selena because what's left now for EVOS? What's left now? What do you put in the mid that's gonna make this Karina lethal?
Well, I mean, possibly Farsa to get some huge chunks out. Lilia as well as another quick shout out that we can have as well. At this point in time, we're seeing that the Barat is going to be locked in. See You Soon going to have a lot of EXP pressure, or potentially, we don't know if this Paquito is going to go into the jungle, but it's really steering towards that direction.
Yeah, it's telegraphed at this point, unless they switch it up. We have seen some jungle Barats in our day, so maybe this is See You Soon pulling a fast one over EVOS, but now EVOS are going to close up their draft. What else is missing?
Did you just say Baras in our day? You make it sound so old.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know what generation y'all guys are from, but it's a young side of mine. I'm feeling great.
Anyways, right now, again, like I said, Team and See You Soon, they have a lot of frontliners, right? It's very heavy frontline. So as right now, EVOS, if they want to go heavier, I would want them to use, I would say, a hero that can really affect the HP, just like Yuzong, maybe with the Shara is gonna do a lot.
See You Soon 軽くここでハンター取んないと
keep asking for it and they gave it. There's very little scaling DPS
なんか
almost none.
明示になるんじゃない？ニュートとかセイムとか入れてるアリス でも明示じゃないとしんどくないこれ
floundering. Okay, how do I kill these dudes?
Okay, let's remember here. Yes, Evo, we're used to a lot of MPL lineups that have a lot better scaling towards the later stages of the game. But compared to See You Soon, it's actually not that bad, you know?
基本タゲ版だと思います。タゲ版とか使ってたキャラを見てバンしてるんだと思う。
Now this, honestly, I think it's interesting.
Okay, so this is my thoughts. See You Soon, they have a lot of crowd control, not a lot of damage.
안녕.
Chang'e is a very interesting hero that can be countered with the radiant armor. However, if they do have a
gold
especially when she
DPS
gets
になる
the
から
glowing one early, even if you do have a
あれ
radiant armor,
違う
you're still gonna
これ
get
ミド
affected.
メー
You're
ジが
still
いる
gonna die, especially seeing from the side of EVOS SG. They're not really that tanky. The only
まあ
tanky ones here
ジョー
are
が
Hilda as well as the Yuzong.
サイクロあたりになるから
Confidently dodge a lot from the meteor shower.
サイクロ
Yeah, and it can actually pressure the
耐えれなさそう
mid game before items are
リリア
built,
とか
before the
ありそう
radiant armor even. And
ジョー
yeah,
が
that
確かにいい
does
かも
put
しれない
See You Soon in quite the conundrum.
See You Soon, they have to force it out. If they don't, not looking good. Because again, which hero skills the best here? EVOS SG, in my opinion, have the better scaling. They have a marksman.
I agree. I definitely agree with that one. But that Florin passive, giving that extra item, that 10%,
いやクリント OP だったか
whether
も
it
結構
be, you know, attack damage or magic damage, Chang'e might be able to really set herself apart. We've seen how Beatrix out in game pause already being made here. Hopefully the technical side of things is going to be great. But this does give us a little bit of time. If that lantern is going to make all the difference here. We've seen Beatrix be able to scale in towards that late game. That extra 10% allowing her for an even greedier build to become something way more powerful than you would have expected. Does it work the same way with Chang'e?
I don't think it's just clearly going to be on Chang'e. That's the cool thing about Florin, or the way See You Soon's playing her. Ember can go home, switch it up, give it over to Hoove if he wants to.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe to the Paquito, yeah.
Depending on what kind of pressure EVOS SG is playing, and LaFell now it puts it in perspective. I'm so surprised. It's actually a switch up.
ジョーガがどんくらい頑張るか。
Like I said, this is what I want to see. I wanted EVOS as you really bringing pressure, but as of right now, maybe slight biasness, but as an analyst, I would say I prefer the EVOS SG lineup because their win condition is a little bit more flexible. Where see you soon, their win condition is very restrictive. A, B, and C needs to
ポテ
happen,
チってこんな美味しいん
and
か。
then they can comfortably win it. So their draft really heavily favors if they have very, very good mechanics, which I'm sure they do have. But again, it's a more complicated win condition to execute.
Well, I don't think it's as complicated as you would like. Most people would like to believe here. I think it's heavily dependent, is the word you're looking for, on EVOS because it depends on their moves. Every single time you see aggression from EVOS, that's when Seiyusun is like, okay, yes, we can play the game. We've got a plan to go with it. But if it's the opposite way around, it may not necessarily be the same.
As we go into the game, finally, we have begun 40 seconds in. Hoove gonna try to secure his purple buff. JPL not gonna have any of it. Boxy keeping him boxed out. This is our jungle. Little Wanderer still stands. Boxy almost going down. Interestingly enough, they let go. Hoove understand that there's another better target, Potato.
He's gonna try and do that as much as he can. Oh my goodness! JPL and Boxy trading 1-for-1 there, but a quick first blood going over to EVOS SG. That's gonna be great setups, and more importantly, trying to make sure they trade it upwards. Boxy is the dedicated mid laner. He is not taking roam boots.
They switched it up. They gave it over to Ember. Ember is so versatile. I love that this in-game leader is such a great anchor to follow through. And right now, Felix walking straight on through gear.
これな、これすると
Is this not
さ、
gonna hurt Potato's farm?
ジャングルがちょっとだるくなるんだよね。ゾンが取れてもバーツが気が取ってもカリナが枯れないから。
I don't know, LaFell.
I mean, this is my
経験値が
opinion. If the way that they play, they want to go heavily on the ganking, then it really doesn't matter because either you're going to be taking the enemy's jungle or you really just want to get level 4 and go ham on any part of the map.
Well, speaking of going ham, actually.
This is about to go down. There's a Detona's welcome. Get in my belly. Felix throwing him over. And here comes the dragon. Potato already down. Boxy just kiting them out, taking a lot of damage from the Sha energy. Gear is dropping, and that's going to be turtle priority. He's kiting it, moving it over to their side. EVOS SG gets out by the skin of their teeth. That's a jungler falling on their side.
It's a little unfortunate to say the least, but this game isn't going to be determined by one kill. JPL doing a very good job at kind of, getting a lot of vision over where Seiyusun wants to kind of path across the map here. These neutral objectives is something that Seiyusun can drag out, and it's a perfect idea to do so since EVOS SG is the one who needs to take the initiative.
Yeah, right now we're looking at the items, and this is the thing that I do want to give props to JPL. The way that he's playing the game, he's really slowing down Hoop as the Paquito jungle. Usually we see very, very aggressive, but right now the goal difference is not by much, and it's all thanks to JPL.
おはよ
Yeah, JPL is building up towards that Dreadnought armor. Casual Dreadnought armor very fast. 4v1. JPL, what
う。で
you
も
gonna
カ
do?
リナに
Gear
対
and
してな、
Sayla
ハン
coming
タ
to
ー
the
来る
rescue.
と
I'm
ダメージがあんま
offended
取んない
Sayla
から、
pops the black shoes.
パキ
Ain't
ートでも
going
よかったか
nowhere,
ら
but the turtle gonna get
パキー
secured
トだ
in
っ
by
たらスキ
CU.
ルでダメージ与えれ
Look
る
at
から
that。top side. Immediately, we are seeing Potato. He is just completely taking over the entire top side jungle. Who walks on is like, where did it all
た
go?
だ火力がな、ちょっと
Where's
心
my
配には
funds?
なるけど。
Hey, all right, there's a small camp. He still spots it, but Potato
もう取れ
eats
て
a
る。
face full of meteor shower. This fact that they're giving Run so much space, is this gonna go towards their artillery, their one-man gank squad plan, a run for their money? Because see you soon, they're up by about 300 gold, and I'm not sure if that's a good deal, especially if they won the turtle and they're up a kill. It seems like it's such a small margin.
It may be a small margin, but it's not enough to predetermine anything for the mid game. I think they're going to have to do 2 or 3 more times before you start seeing its effects, because at the end of the day, Run still needs items.
Oh, Ember eats a circling eagle, but no follow-through. It was just to help Kite. It was able to buy some time while JPL just sits here. Oh, this is not a good bush to be in right now. Oh, sneaky. He gets away.
This is perfect information. Now Adamir just walks away knowing that there's going to be so many people, and even the rest of them are ready to go and jump in on this as JPL takes the brunt of the aggression.
Oh, he gets pulled in. Look at Sayla dropping these glooms, blowing them up just the same. Who coming in from the east? Both teams, they're playing cops and robbers, going left and right. They know that the other knows where they are.
It's kind of interesting to see you soon in this position. We were expecting something a lot more aggressive out of them, but I think both sides can really identify where they want to attack on the map. And now Boxy, maybe in some trouble here.
Oh, they went a little too deep, and that meteor shower used as a deterrent. You shall not pass. No chasing, says see you soon. This is such a friendly game. Lafell, you're not getting your multiple kills before first turtle.
Now, here's the thing. The way that they play like they're both playing a scaling composition, right?
どうだろうこ
They
れ
act like we want to farm out first. We want certain
上げすぎかな
items, then we go very, very aggressive. The question is, what are the items that they are waiting for? Because as of right now, Adamir over at top going up against Run.
Too much pressure on this
ジョーが落ちそう
going way farther underneath the turret. He knows that he can try to buy time, but he just had to give it away. Turret traded out for the turtle. Off camera, we almost missed it. Who's gonna secure this? Turtle Slaying brought to you by the STB. Was that worth it? I feel like it wasn't.
I think that to a certain degree it was worth it because EVOS SG has a very different idea of what they want to do across the map compared to what CU Soon.
パリナそんな稼げてなさそう
It's about items, it's about Ember, making sure that she stays as healthy as possible and more importantly scales up as quickly as she can so they can, you know, speed up that bloom.
Oh no, JPL circling eagle into the back line, catches Ember. Hoop beating down on the JPL, flicker on out, gear still going, just dancing, tail whip up, knocking up and taking down Ember, and they're still going. Felix doesn't want any of this shot energy, taking down the big dino.
ブロディ
Just
強
like
え
that, staying on their side of the jungle, does not want to suffer any more
安
losses.
定感あるわ
That
ブロ
was
ディ
great by Gear. I mean, that Petrify landing on all three people, instantly setting things up for the rest of EVOS SG to snowball and bulldoze their way through in the purple side of CU Soon's jungle. It's looking good, but now it's about the next couple of steps. EVOS now even up the score. All right, that's cool, that's great, but how are they going to choke out that jungle economy?
Looking at it, Hoove is having a hard time. He can't confirm anything. It's a difficult time to be a Paquito right now because a lot of your targets are going to get away.
Right now, Run with that Chaga just finished his going one. It's now or never because again, both of them play like a scaling composition. But again, EVOS SG, Adamir with the Brody is going to be very, very strong in the later stage of the game. But also Gear, the more items you put on this Yuzong, the harder it is for him to die. And in this kind of situation, see you soon. They're playing a little bit counterproductive to their own draft.
Yeah, it's so awkward. You see that they have the Chang'e, you see that they have the Ruby, you'd assume that they were the ones with the range advantage. Hell, they even have a global ult on the Florin. But it seems like, yeah, they're the ones who can't just catch a break. They can't land these punches.
I guess that's why they have Felix just making sure that he face checks literally everything and having, you know, Ruby just chilling with the rest of the team in case the backline's in trouble. JPL, he gets caught out here actually.
Yep, could be a pickoff, but again, the frustration just keeps building. Nothing. JPL unpunished.
And that's not all. Adamir,
あ
he's going to get away with a lot of quick flicker
もう
coming
ブ
in
ロ
from
デ
Boxy
ィ
though.
狙れるけどマッチが強いなそれ
Taken away
は
just like that. Guiding winds keeping the Brody alive, and a fight breaks out right here in the last turtle. They're going. JPL gets pulled in. Oh, too much to survive. Oh, but he does.
やばいゾーン決まりそう
Home court buff keeps him alive. Of course, it's more the
誰
shield, but now
捕まえる
here wants to pick off this fight.
捕まえれそうじゃない
Five members of See You Soon here in their jungle. Torpor memory keeping them away. Interestingly enough, how did JPL survive?
See you soon.
Good thing he had
ちょっ
flicker.
ともう
Am
ちょっ
I
と
right here? The guiding winds were doing good job. Was doing a good job.
やばいな
Well,
差があまりないから
saved his life, but more
このままだ
importantly
と
here, we're seeing a lot of discipline coming out from
EVOS
EVOS
SG が
You know for a fact that
そう
Gear, if he wanted to go hard. Gear now in some trouble. Gets
でもグループしてる
attacked
か
so
ら
heavily, but luckily, JPL, savior as
See you
always.
soon の方
And
結
now
構いいんじゃない
Teto coming in. He uses that immunity
あこれマッチやばくね
to such great extent. Now JPL coming in one more time.
めっちゃ
dropping a few whiffs
めっちゃ
on
固まって
this
る
five-man squad. And now See You Soon just sticking together. They know that in a team fight, if they break up, Potato is going to be punishing them. But just like that, it's a push and a pull, a push and a pull.
Yeah, right now looking at how JPL plays, this is one of those reasons why Matilda is so favored. When, you know, pun intended, when she has the favorite boots, then every single time she uses the Circling Eagle, she gets that heal. And the thing is, Circling Eagle is such a good move because the range on the dash is very, very far, but also you can help your team out as well because we've seen Adamir, oh, he got caught up. Not really. Circling Eagle is there to help your team out.
And you mentioned, Adamir is the only one who actually JPL has to take care of. Everyone else has a way to get away and to take care of themselves and survive. So that's what's explaining this 4-2 very frustrating way of playing against See You Soon.
Yeah, but even See You Soon is just waiting for a mistake coming out from EVOS SG. It's getting close, but Gear now gets on top of Hoove.
Oh no, Hoove! He's gonna be able to get out of here.
Oh,
but he's still getting hit by
Paki
the China Circling Eagle by JPL, and he gets taken down. Gear gets his man. Felix here not hitting anything. He's isolated 2v1 and underneath the turret. They want to get more. Boxy still alive, takes a few hits, and they catch a face full of meteor showers. But the two-man death squad from the northern side of the map finally get the Barats, and it's a 2-for-9 plus a turret going over to EVOS SG.
結構渋いですね。
So great because now they've broke open all the tier 1 turrets and even getting a tier. Oh, JPL, is he gonna live? Yes, he does. Just in time, he manages to get the shield and the favor before the auto attack collided. But now they've opened up the map, and most importantly, they can really start getting their economical lead against See You Soon. The longer this game is going to go, the bigger that lead we're seeing from EVOS SG to continue, and they don't necessarily have to fight. They just walk in, steal a couple of camps. Hey, let's pressure another side of the map. What you gonna do? Respond to us? No problem. We'll absorb the gold on the opposite side.
Yeah, you want to talk about home ground advantage? EVOS SG, this is their home ground.
本当はニュートとかジミーとか欲しかったんだろうな。ジミーバーンされてたし、ジミー使ってたんだろうけど。セイムもいなかったし。
But unfortunately, over here we can see a lot is doing wrong. Felix, he used the Daytona's welcome, but he did not stun up anyone. I was looking forward to him stunning up multiple people from EVOS Singapore, and look at how scattered the team.
マチルダが強いね。
is left, right, everywhere. And the
うざい。
single person you have
ニ
to
ス
look
キが
at
強すぎる
damage
これ
is run. And
マ
if
チ
run
ル
is
ダ
running away, then that's not going to be a lot of damage.
The way I see it is Felix isn't using the other half of the detonus
ニスキがね
Honestly,
本
detonus
当に
welcome is
回復
lethal
する
when
し
you
シールド
don't
付与
use
される
the landing and
し
it does something to the opponents.
ブリンク
EVOS SG,
で
they're
きる
not scrambling,
し
they're not scared.
やばいよ
I
こ
don't
れ
think they have to be.
マチルダ
I
の
don't
ニ
think
ス
they
キ
ever have to be, in a matter of fact, because I mean, yes, the wave player is kind of good coming in from See You Soon. They've got immense amount of peel, but at the end of the day, if this game continues to drag on out, I really would like to see what See You Soon's next plan of action is going to be, especially when it comes down to these neutral objectives.
Huge Lord already started trying to kite it onto their side, EVOS SG, baiting out Felix and Boxy. Circling Eagle onto the dragon, on the dinosaur.
バラツールと落ちたから彼に突っ込んでいきそう
Here comes the dragon, actually coming in from the south, moving on, trying to catch 3 or 4 with the petrify, and he doesn't use it just yet. It might be enough to take down Felix.
もうバラ伝えた
He's still in
さっ
this.
き入っ
Down
てる
goes
けど
Potato gets
全
his
然
man.
だ
That's a knock up on the Boxy. There's still a lot of damage on the side of EVOS SG. Just like that, they're happy to take it
なん
and
かやっ
take
ぱ
a
足りないな
few little small camps on the way out. Oh wow,
足り
quick
んな
conversion into the Lord.
Yeah, and they're gonna do it all over again, knowing that, you know, Hoove is
マチルダがやっ
they
ぱ
have
強すぎるわ
guaranteed ways to secure this Lord, and maybe
こういう
bait out
時の
this
マチルダ
fight
は
from See You Soon, because they don't know that
こういうマ
Matilda
チルダ
still
される
has
と
8 more
マチルダ
seconds
や
on
っぱ
that
強えって
retribution.
なるん
They
よ
get
な
timed as well.
Oh, Circling Eagle to push them back, and it's enough time for EVOS SG to finesse that Lord take.
このまま
In 12 minutes 50 seconds.
あでも
I
ジョーがい
believe
るか
that
ら
should have been luminous.
守れるか
Honestly, if
ハード
I
は
was in See You Soon's position, I would be fuming at JPL.
こん
He's
ちは
surviving way too
こん
long
ちは
and getting unpunished for this.
や
Boxy
ばい
actually
めちゃくちゃ
missing his
寒い
time offended earlier on in that fight really costed them a lot because that would have been a
寒い
free kill on at
し
least JPL, and
眠
they
い
could start pushing in towards Lord's side.
Again, I'm sorry for keep saying this, but See You Soon is a very mechanical dependent draft. And look at Potato. He's building a defensive Karina. It's a tank Karina. And See You Soon, they don't have much damage anyways. So right now, even though JPL, we look like, oh, he's taking a lot of damage. But again, when we look at the meter shower, it's a straight line. When you dash, you can go left or right. And a lot of people from EVOS SG can do that.
Yep. Oh, JPL coming in, Circling Eagle, maximum distance, able to open up the small window for the Lord to wail away, putting that mid lane
カード守れた
at
ら
about a sixth of
熱い
his health. They're gonna lose a tower down bottom as well. Huge wave for EVOS SG there. They need to manage that, and they're happy to have stopped it. Get that free kill on JPL. Shut him down. He's hadn't died in what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, he hadn't died for a very, very long time. I mean, that was only I would say 8 minutes, more than 10 minutes. I think so far, Gear, he's just chilling. He's just waiting for the right opportunity to go in with the rest of his team. But see you soon, playing this extremely patiently and making sure that they're mitigating the amount of gold that EVOS SG is able to claim. It's only a 3K gold difference. That's not a lot.
Yeah, right now, see you soon, they do have a lot of peel, but just like an onion, if you cut it right, you're not going to cry when you peel it all over, you know? You don't get it? You need to cook more.
It's multiple layers.
Multiple layers on an onion.
Yeah,
and then you get cry. Okay,
what?
never mind.
Excuse me, for the first time in a while, Adamir is not part of the fight here because he got
フ
isolated
ローラ
by
の
these
回
two.
復が
But
入
now
るけど
Boxy gonna get taken down by Sayla. A lot of bursts. They did not
減
put
速がね
respect on the Lilia, who we haven't really seen do much in this 15-minute bout, but he's sitting pretty and safe. 205.
More so than pretty and safe. I think Sayla is just comfortable. Like he's not playing nervously. He's been hitting a lot of those glooms. He hasn't missed too many skill shots overall and has some great damage. I think by the end of the game, he should be topping off the damage charts as well. But JPL continuing to be an absolute menace to see you soon. He just does not stop prodding them.
Yep, in a Leo Murphy-like way.
Yes,
just
exactly.
without the recalls, he doesn't need that. He doesn't need that. But I see what you're saying. He's literally always in their face. Whether he dies or not is another case. But yeah, Season always has to think, who's gonna get hit by the circling eagle? Who?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a slow, painful game for either side. Like, EVOS SG is wanting to break, at least get a 8K or getting close towards a 5K. That would be really, really nice, but it's such a slow build-up. And See You Soon just knows that if we can drag this out to the 42K mark, it really doesn't matter. No matter what situational item EVOS SG goes for, unless they get greedy with their build, they're not going to be able to penetrate this wall.
Yeah, and right now, honestly, EVOS SG, they still have to respect the damage from Siyusu because I just saw that Rod just finished the Holy Crystal, and Radiant Armor or not, it will hurt. Unless you build Radiant Armor and Athena Shield, then sure, you're probably going to tank a lot of it. But as of right now, I feel like both of these teams are really looking forward to that one Lord fight. I am not too sure if See You Soon, they can fight it well just because Lilia can stay at the backline and do a lot of damage. But they're mostly melee type heroes, so they're all going to take the big brunt of the damage. And then once they're down low, it's going to be very easy to take down a Chang'e.
I think more importantly, so let's keep in mind that what we're seeing on the map.
もうジョガで耐えてミスマッチしかなさそうだね。
Notice that they're not
本
force
当に
pushing. They're sitting by the lanes, absorbing
相手が甘えるかミスっ
getting that
て
gold,
1枚ず
waiting
つ
for that luminous lord to come up. And
1枚まず
Season,
誰か
they
持って
cannot walk
っ
out.
て
They don't have the
そっ
security
から
of their turrets to sit under.
うまく
They're getting
戦え
choked
ばワ
out
ンチャンあるけ
very,
ど
very slowly as we see a 4K gold lead. But now the most important objective for either one of these teams, the luminous lord,
火力
is
がやっぱ
now
若
up.
干
That's
足り
when
ん
you
だ
see
ろう
the
な。
moves happen.
Interesting. They're
若干どころ
snowballing it. You're
足りん。
right. Exactly right, Gideon. They were freezing lanes at some point, and then they're snowballing and sandbagging some waves so that they're open for this Lord take. And a majority of EVOS SG is not even here. It's just Potato and Sayla and then Gear here to the west. But now, Lord already really low. Here comes Gear setting it up on the back line. Felix gets one with the Dennis
お
welcome.
パッケがロール取っ
Who
た
feels the Lord? And that's gonna be Gear. Shot energy
け
left
ど
and
ゾン
right.
が
But it's
決ま
not
ってる
enough.
あージョ
Run
ー
goes
が落
down.
ちた
Felix has
集団
one,
戦
two
ボロ
for
負け
Lord inside of See You Soon. But was it worth it? 4 down. It's just Ember
ロールは
left.
取っ
What now?
た
He's
け
gonna
ど
get taken out as well. It's the wipeout for the Singaporean squad.
取ったけどだよな
Wow, the sheer confidence. You don't see this very often in teams. Most teams will say, hey, let's bait the fight, but not sacrifice the Lord in the process. EVOS SG, sacrifice the Lord. We've got a one-way ticket to end this game for See You Soon off of one fight. A clinical game here for EVOS
タイガーのビルド
SG.
見てないな
GG, well played.
Yeah, and this
タンクビルドっぽい
again
け
is a
ど
whole draft thing because See You Soon, they did the good thing, right? The Barats taking out the Karina, making sure that she cannot use the Retribution, so she cannot secure the Lord. So it was a pretty easy Lord secure. But this is one of those situations where they're just like, okay, you know what? You guys have a lot of wave clear. We do not want to fight in your base, so please come to the Lord. We beg of you. We're opening up. You can take the Lord. We want your lives.
Methodical, multi-layered, scheming almost. The way that they set that up, I honestly thought about it, but again, they were all the more clever. This is your Singaporean champions, ladies and gentlemen. They played that so well.
Yep, I mean, this is why they are the champions, in fact. They are winning MPL SG, and we know for a fact Singaporeans are some of the smartest people. They've been coaching some of the best teams out there, and this is work in
そう、
progress.
国勢がちょっと悪
Mentality turn into reality.
かった
Look
な。
how smart the way they played this, and more importantly, if they were to be decided by a card game or better yet a meta, they are the control players. They will only play the game when they want to.
Yeah, in fact, after this, we are going to look at all of the itemization, and honestly, part of the itemization makes it so that the draft coming from See You Soon is almost unplayable because they do not have enough damage. They have a lot of crowd control, but they don't mind getting control because, yeah, sure, I cannot move, I cannot do anything for like 3-4 seconds, but still, Adamir from the back can deal a lot of damage. That torn apart memory, it hurts. But honestly, in that kind of situation, I feel like he can just play based on his basic attack only.
It's interesting how there was so much coverage in this deceptively simple lineup on EVOS SG.
Yeah.
Early on, they played as LaFell asked, can we be a little more aggressive, please? And then later on, very controlled, and eventually into this, all right, you can have the Lord, but we'll take the game.
To be fair, I still got to kill below 2 minutes. But for you to be able to actually win the team fight at the Lord, even though the Lord is taken, you need clear-cut communication. And you can do that with Razer Hammerhead true wireless cutting-edge earbuds destined to dominate the sound stage. Again, you don't want any kind of distractions coming from anyone, not from the casters, not from the
Yeah.
audience. You want to listen to your own teammates. So make sure you guys have the best
なんか
level of communication with Razer Hammerhead, especially with the
ちょっと
active
渋か
voice
ったな。
cancellation, putting all the distractions to the side and focus on what really matters. And what really matters right now is the itemization for both of those teams. So let's see what EVOS SG built to make sure that they do not die. And I want to look at
カリナの
Karina
ビ
in
ル
the
ドは
first place, where as of right now, as we said, Karina is
もうフル
building
タン
this
クです。
tanky composition, tanky Karina, and the first item that she made was the anti-Cures. And Matilda as well have the anti-Cures over here. And for those that don't know,
火力がさすがに足りん。
actually stack together, making
ミド
sure
ルビー
that
で
whoever deals
ジャングル
the
がファイター
physical
で
damage is gonna have lower and lower damage. And as of right now, we can see you soon. A lot of fighters over here.
ジョーガしか出る。
Felix with the
ジョーガ
bars
しか火力出るやつおらんもんな。
Hoof with a Paquito going to the front. Boxy with this Ruby sure is a fighter, but the build is very tanky. And look at See You Soon. All of the items, they're tanky. The only one with damage items are Hoof and Run. And having these two is really not enough, especially when most of their damage can be avoided quite easily with that. And again, having the anti-Cures make Hoof unplayable, having the Radiant Armor also makes Run unplayable. So in this kind of situation, the gameplay from EVOS SG is very clean. But honestly, the game was over before it even started.
Really, over before it even started. So if we were in See You Soon's position, they would have no answers to at any point of the game?
One answer.
What are we looking at here?
Who has to invade the jungle?
これはちょっとバンピックで決まっ、ドラフトでちょっと試合決まってた感は
Karina has a problem.
あるな、結
Push
構。
advantages on the Brody lane. Make sure that Run is so far ahead. It doesn't matter what kind of items that you build.
バンがうまい
you're
と
still
本
gonna
当
go
こう
down.
なるんよ
They
な。
have to snowball with Hoof
多分
and
本当
Run
にジミーと
because
か取りたかったんだろう
once
ね。
they have that momentum rolling,
考えてたあ
then
たり。
yes, they can control the jungle, right? Meteor Shower can clear the jungle very fast. They can clear objectives very fast.
いや、
They
これ
cannot.
多分ゾーン
Right
タリ
now,
スマン
let's
積ん
look
で
at
るの
the
は嘘よ。
MVP of the game. The MVP is going over to Sailor with the Lilia 309.
最後買い替えたんだ
kill
と思う。
participation, and I don't doubt, just as Gideon said, probably topping the damage charts, which again makes it very difficult when you have a very heavy melee composition. Everyone's going to go to the front, and everyone is going to take the brunt of the damage from this Lilia. And if you're like, oh yeah, Lilia's painful, let's run away. Well, it's kind of hard to run away from a torn apart memory coming from Adamir.
You know what made me think as well that Sayla was eventually bound for something in this game, not just a win, but maybe even an MVP, is how Gideon said, he's playing so comfortably.
それか
He's
普
not
通に
even
バグ
playing
ってる。
Purify. He's on that flicker. So he knows that there's not enough on the side of Siusun to pin him down and take him out, hence the 0 deaths.
Yeah, and more importantly so, I think just like the way that he's playing the game, as I mentioned before, very comfortably, but also just a certain level of disrespect, I would like to say. It's not very blatant where you're walking up and you're spamming recalls, but more so that you are purposely putting yourself in danger, knowing that your mechanics alone and a well-timed black shoes, and if things get really dicey, a good time flicker, as we've seen from JPL multiple times, is going to be enough.
Yeah, and imagine like, oh, you're in a bad position, black shoes. And it's like, oh, I'm still in the back spot. All right, flicker. Oh, I'm still in the bad spot. Oh, guiding win. The draft from EVOS SG, they're so elusive. That is why I say it. Again, below 2 minutes. Okay, first wish list, done. But the game has been very, very slow. And right now, see you soon, I'm kind of wondering, are they out of their elements? Because it does seem like they're playing at a massive disadvantage by being very passive, very uncomfortable. It's not the end of the day. I want them to really speed things up, because looking at the highlights, let's look at the damage that they are pushing out, which is not a lot. Sure, JPL died here, but it's against 5 people and a turret.
I mean, it's the draft, right? As you mentioned, it's not a lot of inbuilt damage overall in See You Soon's draft, and I do think it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think it's performance anxiety, because yes, they have short moments, and yes, they are a little cold here and there, but as most people say, and especially if you are ranking at high levels, first game of the day.
Yeah, first game of the day, but still, this is one of those things that they have to look at, you know.
構成が火力不足で負けるときほど
because what went
まあ
wrong
ね、もうバレはないよ。
towards EVOS SG win condition, which is what they want to do is they want to scale up, they want items, and then they want to crush in the team fights, and that is what they did. So they let EVOS SG do what they want, and in higher level play, especially in competitive play, that is the basic of what every team wants to do. Identify what does the enemy want to do, and then deny them of that fact. So right now there's no deny from See You Soon, and that is the #1 problem that they had in this first game.
To be fair, even the denial factor, even the fact of Hoove coming in, trying to stop Potato, it is not a good idea, because there's that immunity on the Karina. So I think it comes down to the draft. They need to fix their draft so that they can confidently go into the game and eventually, take off those nerves, shake them off, those jitters, and come back stronger. Still not impossible to lock in an upper bracket slot here, but just the same, congratulations to EVOS SG, your MPL Singapore champions, starting the day strong. Again, a great happy birthday for Potato.
Oh yeah, we have to say happy birthday. Maybe later.
Maybe later.
Maybe in the
ちょ
4th
っ
game.
と
It's a long day for us, and we're just getting started. That's just game 1. We'll be back with more. Before our quick break, we would like to thank again our sponsors. M3 is powered by Moonton, presented to you by TikTok Live, and of course supported by the Singaporean Tourism Board. My name is Leo. On behalf of Gideon and LaFell, we're going to throw it over to a break. M3 will be right back.
これ1戦目、次が2戦目で BTK とどっかだった気がする。ニュートでもよかったんですけどね。ニュートだったらまだいけるけど全然。ハリスがちょっと渋かっただろう。キミーとスリムが消えてるのがマジで痛そうだった。BTK とナビだ。ちょっと待ってね。
Stop me, I'm going faster, wanna break away. I love the way it feels, it's the adrenaline, we're going all the way. Cause we never ever going down, you got me walking through the fire. We don't catch a slide when we were young, never run from I'm going faster, wanna break away. I love the way it feels. It's the adrenaline, we're going all the way. 'Cause we never ever going down. You got me walking through the fire. We don't catch a slide when we were young. Never run from the fight, yeah, we come to the top. Never run from the fight, all the way to the top. Never run from the fight, yeah, we rise to the top. Burning up now, nothing's gonna stop me. Oh baby, please, oh yeah. 'Cause we never ever going down. You got me walking through the fire. We don't catch a slide when we were young. Never run from the fight, yeah, we come to the top. Never run from the fight, all the way to the top. Never run from the fight, yeah, we rise to the top.
The game starts now. Light to my aid.
Legendary! Killing spree! You have slain an enemy!
Things looking brighter now.
Legendary!
Be wary. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there.
Mega kill! Killing spree!
I'm burning up now, taking higher levels. I'm in a bad spot, trouble to my knees. I need a taste, sipping on heaven. You got me waiting, waiting for you. We're chasing trophies, got me ready, don't you worry. I feel the power, I'm the champion. You got me running for the glory. Good to let this go. Burning up now, nothing's gonna stop me. I'm going faster, wanna break away. I love the way it feels. It's the adrenaline, we're going all the way. 'Cause we never ever going down. You got me walking through the fire. We don't catch a slide when we were young. Never run from the fight, yeah, we come to the top. Never run from the fight, all the way to the top. Never run from the fight, yeah, we rise to the top. I'm on a rush now, winning, that's my focus. I need some ice, you gotta cool me down. I feel my nirvana coming closer. You got me waiting, waiting for you. We're chasing trophies, got me ready, don't you worry. I feel the power, I'm the champion. You got me running for the glory. Good to let this go. Burning up now, nothing's gonna stop me. I'm going faster, wanna break away. I love the way it feels. It's the adrenaline, we're going all the way. 'Cause we never ever going down. You got me walking through the fire. We don't catch a slide when we were young. Never run from the fight, yeah, we come to the top. Never run from the fight, all the way
よいしょ。もう眠すぎてコーヒー入れてきた。本当に眠い。ディフェンダー出てくるよ、左に。あ、出た、ワーバービー。一番強そうだった。M2 で見たとき。見た目が。ナビね、これ国旗どこかわかんないんだけど、前回ロシアで出てた、ロシア。これどこ？これ国旗はわからん。国旗俺もわからん、これは。なんだこれ。ディフェンダーこの見た目で、いくつだっけ ?18? だった気がする。めっちゃ若い気がする。この右のモバゼンも20歳よ、今。見えなさすぎやろ、みんな。やばい。もう、オーバービーラスのこれちょっと、癖になってるわ、俺。当然30くらいかと思ってました。いや、でも、30って言われても別に、あ、そうなんだってね、納得しちゃいますよね。あ、本当に20歳に見える。やばすぎるよね。ヒゲはやっぱヒゲがあるから、20に見えない、20に見えないのかも。
worldwide up in here because these are two teams that are from very far parts of the
あ、
world where
ディフェンダーも20とかだった気がするわ。
Honestly, the way that I think about this is I'm looking at people's expectations when they saw that
モバゼンと同じくらい
EVOS SG going up against CU soon. They're like, okay, those are definitely the two teams that are going to be sitting
めっちゃ
at the
ね、
top,
すごかっ
and
た。
everybody
中
else
国
is
語
sitting at the
と、
bottom. But I
なんか
think otherwise, both
3
Navi
カ
and BTK have been working
国語くらい
extremely hard.
喋れてた。
BTK, one of the teams that have been heavily
めっちゃ
hyped
優
up,
秀。
and I absolutely, well, personally, I have my biasness towards the CIS.
Yeah, and for me personally, I'm super excited to actually be on the casting desk for this particular game because again, Navi and BTK, just like what Gideon said, they have been hyped up. And honestly, we can even see that in the live streams from BTK where they look very comfortable in the Southeast Asia server, even taking some games out of some M3 folks over here. And Navi, we talked to them, right? And compared to M1 and M2, they look super confident and super prepared for M3, almost like, yeah, this is just another Tuesday.
but actually it's a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, here in lovely Singapore.
Wow.
All this hype is for
Wow.
good reason, and all this hype is brought to you by those who are making M3 possible. This is all powered by Moonton, supported by the Singaporean Tourism Board, and as well presented to you live by TikTok Live. We would also like to thank Frank Debit Card, brought to you by OCBC. Be the MVP of both skill and style with the Frank Debit Card. Out of over 60 designs, pick the one that screams your personality or your dreams. And this has got to be a dream come true for the BTK squad. For the longest time, they've been dominating NA, and now they're coming into the World Championships facing off against the veterans, once known as Deus Volt, also known as Unique Devo. They're facing off against Na'Vi. Is that not a dream come true for an esports athlete? I'm facing Na'Vi today.
ジェネラルの方が年下ですよね。
You know what? Let's give these boys a shot. Are they going to be born to win, or can they take down the land of freedom? It's really difficult to say here at the very least, and I think this is a great opportunity to kind of judge the power levels. You know, Dragon Ball Z, put on the scatter.
Yeah.
Let's see where they stand.
But right now, let me cast some doubts, as I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been given, because again, North America, NA, a lot of people are looking at this team. However, during M1, they did not look well. Will they look good in M3? Right now, let's look at the standings over here, where EVOS, being the home ground favorites, they have the first advantage, standing at the top. See you soon at the bottom, receiving the first loss of the day. But Na'Vi and BTK, they are going up next. And then after this, we are going to see the initial status quo of how it will look like.
Yep, to be fair, numbers are not on the side of BTK, and that's not fair to say because of the scores. They're still relatively at 0. Again, we're just starting the day, but I say that because Na'Vi has had reps. We already mentioned they've been here since M1, M2, M3, and save for Nagib, they're all returning players. They're all parts of the previous lineups. As compared to BTK, we didn't even get an NA representative at M2, so they are setting another precedent.
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing, right? M2 is one of those few situations where it's like, you know, NA wasn't coming around. We had an entire pandemic situation that we're still dealing with, but it's getting better these days. And it's good to have NA back in representing, because now we were expecting the similarities, you know, how long is Gosu going to be dominating that NA scene? And then we have teams like Generation X as well as BTK rising in the ranks, ready to take over as soon as the Kings get a little weak, get a little tired. And that's where we get BTK, who have two previous professional players from other game titles, bringing that experience on, especially since they represented North America in other game titles as well. They want to bring that experience here.
I love it. They're new, but they're not that new. But before we move on, we would like to thank our sponsors one more time. People are making all this possible. Thank you so much to Razer, the official gaming gear, Tumi, official travel partner, Secret Lab, our official gaming chair, our global social network partner, Facebook Gaming, helping all of us stay in tip-top shape in the entire day, making M3 possible. Also, thank you as well to OCBC Bank as our official payment partner,
BTK
Singtel, our official
win.
network partner, and MeWatch, our partner in esports, enhancing the whole M3 experience. Lafell, in your studies of these two teams, one from the CIS, that's Na'Vi, the other from the NA BTK, what are their playstyles like?
Okay, so in terms of playstyles, it's very different. Different from their own selves, not different from the rest of the group. Because for Team BTK, during their qualifiers in NA, they kind of stick to a singular type of strategy. Put a marksman in the jungle and then ban 3 specific heroes. The heroes that they want to ban out is the heroes that can catch the junglers. So they're playing a very hyper-focused meta where one person deals the majority of the damage and the rest make sure he stays alive. However, we have seen that they have evolved because during their stay at M3, during their stay at Singapore, they have made friends. Well, friends.
Quote-unquote friends.
They're very friendly.
Absolutely. No, I think that, you know, both the boys from Na'Vi and as well as BTK, very, very friendly folks, willing to have a chit-chat once in a while. But I want to talk about the EXP laners here. A veteran coming in with Defender from Na'Vi and a previous pro in Fried Chicken trying to take him on. I want to know some of your thoughts on that matchup.
No, first of all, good luck in the play-by-play to keep saying Fried Chicken. Make sure you pronounce it perfectly.
Fried chicken.
You're talking to Leo here. He's comfortable with this,
Fried
you know?
chicken.
He's got the
いやでもどっちもな頑張ってほ
Come
し
from the
い。
land of Jollibee.
anyways, yes, just like Gideon had said, let's look at the EXP lane, where even from RQ, he's spoken highly of Defender, and we've met Defender. And again, the thing about EXP laners, you need someone that is very confident, almost cocky confident. And as of right now, White Chicken, as well as Defender, they have that level of confidence. And I keep asking for this. I want a very, very heavy skirmish from all of the teams today.
Okay, LaFell, one, you gotta slow your roll, bro. You got your see you soon EVOS SG dream result already. That was a match made in heaven, just packaged, give to you here at
I
M3.
love heaven.
Yes, but here today, the thing is about White Chicken and Defender, they could not be any more different. White Chicken, the way he plays, is like a gold laner. As compared to the Victor, the gold laner for BTK, they should swap personality-wise, right? But let's reintroduce the squad. Alongside Defender, we keep talking about him. We have Nagib, we have Lil, we have Sunset Lover, and we have Sawo.
Oh, I mean, I love this team here, especially with the recurring faces. Defender, Sunset Lover, Sawo, and even Nagib as well.
ディフェンダーこれどこやるんだ
They're
ろう
bringing in Lil this time,
Middle?
this time round, and War Barbie is going to be taking the sorry, not the managerial role, but the coaching role. He is literally a father figure to these players. Big dude, powerful eyes, and you can imagine that all of these guys are going to be looking him for some insight, especially when they're out going up against BTK. Defender, as the name is going to be given to him, is going to have to look to play for their team. More importantly, protect that gold laner as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, and again, Navi, honestly, behind the scenes, we've been hyping them up because we heard that they have performed so well in their own region. But coming here, a lot of teams were surprised with the thing that they brought on the table. Right now, let's talk about BTK. We have ZF, White Chicken, Victor, Mobazane, and Shark. And when we look at BTK, people keep talking about Mobazane and Zia actually coming in as their mid laner, where before this, he was a jungler. And based on what we've seen, right, Mobazane, the thing that people are concerned about is people think he can only play those marksmen, those Yusuf Shins, the Brody in the jungler role. But as we've seen, meta keeps changing. Every 2 weeks, the meta keeps changing. Now we want to see whether he can come out of his comfort zone and potentially bring out a fighter or an assassin, or even if they want to stick to their guns, keep playing their marksman, then the rest, can they still do the same thing and protect him up until the end of the game?
Nathan's not too shabby in this current metagame. Not the stellar performance we've been expecting from the Space-Time Walker, but yeah, Mobazane, I know for sure that in his streams, he's been trying to at least build up that assassin arsenal. And yes, just given the name, he's a great content creator buff, going over to BTK here. Gonna try to make like Vidal and go for the upper bracket in great fashion. But what I want to talk about more are these coaches. And on camera right now is Navi's War Barbie. He was once a player. He played in the World Championships for Mlbb previously, and now he's taken this more mentorship role, this guiding role. How do you think that's gonna come into play here?
Honestly, I think the guiding role is important. You need somebody to be looking from above, looking outside of the game, get emotions out of the way. More importantly, are my players doing well? How can we make them even more efficient? How do we defeat our opponents in the most optimal way? Honestly, the only way I can describe War Barbie and his style, he's an absolute unit.
Yeah, and right now, looking at his face, he has this game face on. And this is one of those things that we do not talk about. We're like, okay, behind the scenes, they're very friendly. Like, hey, how are you guys? Did you eat your breakfast? Did you eat your lunch? But when on stage, they look like, okay, we do not care who you are. We don't care what kind of heroes you use. You will play our game and you will lose. And in fact, I've heard that even in interviews, they're like, if you see us, just concede. Just concede.
あるな。
You know where the
ちょっと
button
しかも、
Yeah, literally, I get
お
it.
い、ロシア、
I'm getting
う
from
ん
War
ちょっ
Barbie
と
and Navi.
顔がずるい
We'll
な。
take care of our own.
おはよ
Don't you dare touch us.
I like that. I like
Do not.
that a lot. Honestly, I'm glad there isn't a stare down competition because I feel like Navi is going to have a heads up on that. But let's not forget about BTK. They're not going to be coming in with no coach, no nothing. They're going to be playing with their own wins to control this game.
Which is such a story in its entirety already. Like, they are an independent org representing North America, and they have that whole region in their back. So they're representing hard. The red, white, and blue here, and it's all on these 5 young men. I cannot stress the importance of that and how significant that is. But before we get into the draft,
それあれじゃない？
I think it's time
ワー
for
バー
us
ビ
to
ーかな。
actually thank one of our sponsors.
腕にタトゥー入ってた
That's
人？
Ultra
左腕
responsive
かな。
gaming with 2 times lower latency and get the edge you need while gaming on the go with Thankyou 5G, SG's most powerful 5G network. Screaming with all of their quote-unquote new friends was no problem. I got some intel, talked it up with some of the teams. They were surprised of how good BTK was in scrims.
Absolutely. Remember, BTK isn't going to be backed up by anybody other than these 5 people you see in front of you. They're independent
今
players.
この
They
ナビ
came
の
together.
国旗がどこ
They
か
are friends that met online.
なと思って見てるんだ
They
け
are
ど
the best
見つからん。
of the best in North America.
Yeah, right now actually bringing it out.
これ2試合目です。
I was actually very, very surprised when we first met.
ああ、じゃあワーバービーだ。
down to earth kind of guy.
めっちゃいい人だった
Very, very
よ。
humble.
ワーバービー。
He's very soft spoken. He doesn't mind taking pictures and everything like that.
あれしてる。
Again,
YouTube 配信してるよ。
it's just the switch of character, right? Whenever you're on
胸にもね、
whenever you're on the stage,
なんかタトゥー入ってる。
suddenly your tone of voice changes.
袋から
Suddenly, like you take the game into a different kind of world, a different dimension even. And that is what I want to see from BTK. I want to see more dimensions because Navi, for some reason, I have not seen any of the games,
CIS
you know, ever since they're here in Singapore. But I kind of feel like, in terms of the book of strategies that they have, it's kind of a full book. They can play almost anything. But from BTK, I want to see a different dimension because from NA qualifiers, it looks like they're a very one-dimensional team. I want to see three-dimensional.
本当だ。
Here's the thing. That's actually something I wanted to
国
touch
立
on before
国
we get
境
into the
だ
draft. We still have about a minute left, so we can bring this up now. The marksman was such a high priority during the M3 qualifiers in North America. And you can see that a lot of teams were kind of looking for that big picks. The Natan, they were looking to get eventually, in towards the assassins. They had a really good understanding of what was independently strong in the meta at that time. But it's been 2 patches, one big, one small. Things have changed, and I think that's why we are seeing a little bit of a shakeup in the BTK roles, because whoever is going to get, let's say, all the experience they have on the time can technically go into the gold lane now on top of opening up those jungle picks. So I think it's a good idea that BTK has a very clear idea of where the meta is heading towards.
Yeah, interestingly enough, there already is a huge change. Zia, this is not their original mid laner, if ever he is going to go into the mid lane. That's the question, because in the NA qualifiers, Zia played for another team. Good friends with the BTK squad, so now they pulled him in so that he
ロ
can
シア、
play
ウ
for
クライ
them,
ナ。
and he was
ロシ
also an assassin specialist.
ロシアと
He
ウクライナ
played
ってちょっ
great
となん
lane,
か
he would pick up the Hayabusa here
あれなん
and
でしょ
there.
う。
So yeah, the fact that maybe they also would like to switch
この
up
ね、
in
ディ
there,
フェンダーって
maybe
人が
Jose in
ね、
the mid, who knows?
確
We
か
do
ウクライナの
see
人なんだ
Beatrix
よ
in the
ね。
mid role
Oh,
sometimes.
yes.
So that's there. So again, good amount of surprises, but there's a guiding principle. We kind
だ
of
から
can
ロ
see
シアじゃ
what
な
they
く
can do.
て、あれなん
And
か
right
な。
now we are going into the pick
CIS
and a ban and Navi early on.
あんまわからん。
Nathan, we've seen your
ナビは
game.
そう、
No Nathan.
ナビはプロチームがある。
BTK immediately ban out the
海外
Hayabusa
では
here.
結構
It's
有
really
名な
going to
気
be
が
an、
有名だ
adaptation,
と
right?
思う。
Like we're expecting both Navi
FPS とか
and
強いんじゃないかな、バロラン
BTK
と
what
か。
Southeast Asia has been
モバ
doing
レ、
in
モバ
this
レじゃ
time.
な
I
い。
think a
モ
lot
バ
of
は
teams, have been doing that. Now
ドタ
it's
とかが
incorporating
昔めっちゃ強か
those
ったけど、
playstyle. What is good, what is bad,
だから
and
名前
turn
は
it into
知っ
our
てる。
own identity. That's some of the expectations I have for both of these teams.
Yeah, and looking at the bans, I really hope that BTK really switch up their bans because one of the comments that I gave to them personally that, in my own stream is that they have a very one-dimensional ban. Ban on the
去年
Jawhead,
スポンサー
ban
って
on
どうやって
the
つ
Cut,
け
any
ま
kind
し
of
たか
hero
っ
that
て
can
王
pick
さんた
anyone
ちに
off, they want to ban it out.
聞い
Probably
てたんで
because they,
もう
the way
プ
that
ロ
they
チーム
position
ついちゃっ
themselves
とるやん。
makes it easier for them to get picked off. And a Lilia ban, I would say this is a
ニュ
good
ート
surprise. Lilia has
ああ、
been
ニュ
very
ートか。
good,
モバで
over
ニュート
here
うまい
in
から
M3, and it
な。
does kind of show that Navi maybe they don't
お
want
クリン
any
ト。
kind of weird fast clearing heroes or they want to avoid the team fights.
Yeah, it's also in relation to those heroes that have great catch. And you mentioned one hero that surprisingly is absent here at M3, Jawhead. We have never seen a Jawhead.
I mean, nowadays, Jawhead, there's just a lot of direct counters. Jawhead is really, really good at just targeting one person and saying, hey, you don't really get to play this game. There's a lot of safer heroes to do that, Matilda being one of them. Yes, it doesn't disposition you, but it does the exact same thing. Target him. If I can knock him out of an ult, if I'm able to stun him up for just a couple of seconds and maybe bring a friend along, it's just a lot safer for the earlier stages of the game.
It's just
Your team is
oh,
banning.
sorry, Estes has been banned, but as I was saying, it's one of those situations where a hero is bumped out of the meta, not specifically because he got buffed or because he got nerfed, but he's been in the meta for such a long time that people have just broken the code. It's like, yeah, we know what a Jawhead wants to do. We know how to fight against it. A very easy counter is a Rafaela, which again has been played a lot in M3. Just slow him down, speed yourself up, and like you said, having a Matilda with a guiding wing you can avoid. There's just so many ways to deal with it, and it's just coming from just experiencing the Jawhead for so many times. Now we know what to do.
Popo and Koopa as well. It's just the list goes on, Leo.
It's just a hero that just got bullied out of the metagame. It's not even a matter of statistics. Closing up the draft, BTK takes out the Paquito as well as the Clint. Went under the radar. Maybe they have a read on this. Maybe there's a reason why they took out the Clint. Again, if we're still looking at old BTK, they'd want to keep all the marksmen available as much as possible. But right now, it looks like they have another plan entirely. Navi, what's open left for them? The aforementioned Matilda. I'm hoping that it gets picked up here. If not, BTK is going to trade for it strong.
Yeah, but right now, looking at the bans, Navi looks like they know what BTK wants to do. Because based on the bans, they want to avoid a team fight heavy composition.
Obvious.
So this looks to me that Navi does not want to go for team fights, or they're afraid that they might get pressured, they might get sieged, because the heroes that they have banned out is pretty good at sieging. Eve has been picked up.
これでリンがちょっと取れなくなったのかな。
want to play a big team fight around Riverside. So right now, Navi, it looks like they have a lot of information on BTK.
取れないけ
BTK
ど
right now
取りづらく
taking
なっ
the
た。
Phobias and Esmeralda early, taking the good hero and taking the counter itself. As of right now, the pick and bans, they look very educated. They look like they both know what each other are doing.
Exactly. Navi is playing for the long haul here when it comes down to the draft, right? BTK, on the other hand, they're playing it step by step. They are taking advantage of the red side here. They're getting the Phobius, knowing that they're trying to immediately deter the Matilda. You want to play Matilda?
BTK は使わないんじゃないかな、リンは。
Also took away the counter pick, which so happens to deal with Matilda as well in absorbing those shields.
これモバゼンのキャラを取るよな、バンされるから。いやでも
Interestingly enough, they both take one hero that's currently sitting at 0 win percent. So they're both true. They're both
まだリン来る可能性はあるか。
The curse is gonna be broken.
One of them's gonna win. You're right. One of them's bound to get a win, but there is one thing I gotta note for BTK here before we go into the second phase, waiting for a ban. Yes, it's step by step. Yes, they're taking their time, but also they're playing it very safe. These two heroes are automatically gonna be their side laners, and the word on the street is Victor doesn't play your regular mage or marksman side laners, even as a gold laner. So it's going to be gold lane. Esmeralda, ramp it up on that.
イスンめちゃくちゃ苦手だからな、ゾーン。
As the deterrent. So yeah, I guess Matilda just make my day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think either one of these teams, more likely that BTK could go for the Matilda, and they don't mind it. It's helpful, and it doesn't really show too much of their composition so far. But what's a little worrying for me right now is that Navi have no real ways of bullying the side laners, not that I can think of, because I'm really fixated on the fact that Farsa is still open, and I think Navi should be looking to ban it. After seeing the Yuzong ban here, it seems a little, telegraphed.
Let me give a counter argument. What if they're playing two different styles where BTK, they want to play engage heavy. They already have the Esmeralda, they already have the Phobius, and Yisun Shin with the passive, he kind of does want to get in front as well. On the side of Navi, they have a lot of range. They have the Eve, they have the Brody, so you're not sure. Good control overall on the map. So is this a situation where, especially with the Ruby banned out, it does look like they want to play very front heavy. They're like, I want to go to you. You just stay there and please die.
Yeah, and let's not also forget that we don't see a jungler coming in from Navi's side as well. So let's remember, Lancelot, Ling, both of which Phobius is going to get on top really quickly. Roger as well. It's really not going to be an easy game. I think if Navi wants to go for any jungler at this point in time, it's going to be looking more towards Bane, play around and focus on the ultimates coming in from Eve. Maybe arguably an Aulus here, but it really depends on the style of play. The final ban coming out from Navi's side. Let's see what it's going to be. And there we go. It's going to be the Rafaela. Very interesting.
Yeah, because it's clear that BTK needs to fortify mid. They do not have a support yet. They do not have a
サ
clear
ポタ
roamer.
ン
And
を
by
削
taking
っ
out
た
the
な。
Rafaela and
だ
the
サポタン
Matilda,
3枚消えてるやん。
taken so many options away. There's your mid laner. There's your Farsa. Zia's looking good, looking great, looking happy to have
ジャングルと
the
経験値レーン
feathered
が
airstrike machine.
Yeah, it looks like
Fam,
what? Excuse me.
合ってんのか。
It's literally like, yeah, why did you guys ban it out? Probably he was like, okay, it's either the Farsa or the Beatrix, and it was like, you know what, I prefer the Farsa. Because again, you want to fight range with range, because the thing that I like to look at when we're looking at the draft, I want to see balance. I want to see a good mix of early game, late game. I want to see a good mix of range, route control, and right now, their draft is looking very balanced.
yeah, but there is one thing that they're missing. BTK, I'm saying, there's a lot of magic damage. A little too much magic damage for my taste.
I think it's honestly okay because I don't see any way that Na'Vi can really start pushing their advantages. They're going to be heavily
ジャングラーなんだろう。
on
ラン
this
スか。
Selena to make all the difference. And you know what? You can't just have one outlet. We're going to have to go for another early game outlet. Right now, in terms of scaling, BTK has got them beat here. Na'Vi
確かに、
will have to
あり。
wait for the early to mid stages of the game because there are some very clear direct counters coming in for BTK.
リンに意識言ってたけど、ランスがいたの忘れてたわ
Pick。your poison.
Yep.
Do you want to deal with all the magic
これ
damage?
タンク
and risk
何なんだろう
dying very quickly?
グフとかかな
Because Yushin, he is a marksman, but the way that he damage is outputted is kind of very, very bursty with the passive, with the criticals coming
ロ
in
イン
and out.
か
And Lolita again! Lolita!
初めて見るわ
Debut in,
Lolita day one. We saw Lolita day one.
Yes,
Took a
and-
break yesterday.
yeah, Lolita looking alright. Probably can deter the Brody a little bit, the Selena a little bit. Cannot do much on the Eve when the damage coming from space. I'm not too sure about this Lolita pick. Gideon, how about you?
I want to see a coordinated team play. When you see torn apart memories, they all get behind Lolita, and for the first time, she's going to block all the projectiles. That's what I want to see. It's never been done before, but it'd be very cool if it did happen.
That would be a boom bang bada bing moment.
It's so specific though.
Look, most of the time when it comes down to something like a Numenor Blast, I'm guessing that they want some form of disengage. And I think this is interesting because I would have preferred something like a high loss, but it works in multiple layers, blocking Selena arrows, a lot of projectiles to protect yourself against, and the Numenor Blast to say, hey, if you want to go in hard, I don't mind sacrificing one member for the greater good.
Well, if it's not one member,
行きます
in
か
the name of Shark, aka Oscar,
よ
then
いしょ
so be it. Welcome to Na'Vi versus BTK. Let's figure this out first. Make sure our players get the best experience that they can. Looking at the mini map, you can see that there's 2 members sent up by Na'Vi here. A lot to read in the mini map so far. I guess. Oh, all right, there you go. Fix it up. Fix it up for the young man.
Yes.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Based on the information that we saw so far, I think, in terms of micro-wise, it's great that Na'Vi is going to be, hey, Selena, just start off with your Abyssal Trap, speed up the clear for that Lancelot. Let's get into level 4 as soon as possible, and let's see if we can start pressing our advantages. And I think, in terms of team compositions, we need to remember, early is going to be heavily favored towards Na'Vi's side. Mid-game, it's no man's land here. It's whoever has the better mid-game. If you get a snowball, good for you. Late game, BTK.
Yeah, right now we can already see the differences in the region. Usually we see a Brody with an assassin emblem with the killing spree, looking to re-bully out the opposite laner. But in this game, he's using a marksman emblem, the Electro Flash. So perhaps he's looking for more of a sustained game. He just want to stay in the...
イブが上に一緒にお
If
る
you can bully someone out, great. If
なんだ
not,
これは
not a big deal.
Let's not forget that Electro Flash is one of the few emblems that actually scale pretty well towards the later stages of the game. Remember, BTK have a lineup that is really, really tanky. He's not going to be able to secure those kills as easily as
ローム
most
セ
people
リ
think.
ナ
So I think this is just a great adaptation coming in.
ローム
from
セリナで
Yeah, and Na'Vi is
だよ
super
ねロームセリナ
aggressive.
ね
Defender leaving the XP lane early on, not even a minute in, helping clear this side of the jungle for Sunset Lover, getting that Little Wanderer real quick. Now you can kind of see what the Selena's doing. Earlier, when Selena made her debut here,
よりが早い
not so
ぞ
much. It did not help. But now, a minute in already, I can see how different it is for Na'Vi.
ロインいいところにおる
Sawo's got to be very, very careful. If he goes down early, it's going to be difficult. But yeah, you can see the small interactions. The shield is going to be able to block the Abyssal Arrow. You don't really get stunned. Walk away. It's fine. That's the main idea.
Up top, it's going to be a 2v1. Sawa trying to help out. In mid,
超
it's the
人な
same
んだ
but mirrored
ロイ
over
ン
for BTK. Arrow thrown out, trying to hit that. And Zane Very comfortable. Very comfortable. No pressure at all. Did he lose it? He
Yeah,
did.
he lost
did.
it.
Oh, that's why the comfort is not on his side.
Oh no,
Oh.
that's a little unlucky, but you can tell that Zane did not want to use that retribution. He's got bigger fish to catch, like the turtle that he wants to hang around. Just a little unlucky there. That's fine, but let's see. This first turtle is going to mean so much for Na'Vi, and BTK, they want to drag this turtle out for as long as possible.
It's so curious. Was that well timed, or was that just Zane?
ああ、これ削られたの
complacent
痛いぞ。
with his small camp take.
手触り
He's
始め
very
る。
complacent because he can definitely wait out the damage from the Abyssal Trap and then continue on.
Oh well, let's see. I hope they don't miss out on this one. Priority going over to BTK. 4 members here. That's gonna be 4 from now.
ああ、でもこれランスが。
Manipulation set in. Defender pushing them back with the Carter in the Inferno and the Vengeance. He's still alive. Sunset Lover confirms it. First blood drawn though by Fly
タートル
Chicken.
取られちゃったけ
Turtle
ど、
for the hero. I think now
キルは
Jedi walked away with that.
回
Happy.
収できた。
Yeah, I think unfortunately Nagib
うわ
knew for it was kind of strange how the fight went
ー。
down.
いや
Actually,
ー、この
Nagib
時のランス。
seemed that, you know, Shark
止まらないんだよな。
was standing a little nearby.
手首
Sabo
が
was
す
a
ご
little
い。
low, so he couldn't do much, but just being living our
レベル差今2ついとる。
However, Shark getting a great cancel on that real world manipulation made all the difference.
Yeah, and right now, let's look at the butterfly effect. Let's look at the level from Sunset Lover. Level 6.
一寸この時間まだそんなファーム早くないから、ランスと比べると。
Just by missing out on that turtle, we can definitely see a big change in EXP.
He wants to get ahead here. Lil is protecting himself, but Na'Vi look for the counterattack here.
Void Crystal dropped in by Nagib. Sunset Lover. He can try to go deep, but they're already ahead. About 1,000 gold already. And now you can see how difficult it is as a gold laner to not have that range advantage. Yes, Victor's bullying over Lil, but the gold lead speaks for itself. Let's look at the items.
Yeah, right now let's looking at Lil.
500
Lil
か。
has a mix of everything. He has a little bit
JG
of
との
damage,
差
he has a
は。
little bit of HP as well as magic resist.
まあまだ
Like he doesn't care too much about this early game. He just wants to have equal of everything. He just doesn't want to die, which does show in his emblem of choice. So it looks like Na'Vi is playing a very different game than what we usually see in the Southeast Asia region.
Honestly, I think they're playing for first item. I think that's the general idea. Even though Lil may not necessarily have a lot of control over the lane unless the rest of Na'Vi is rotating to that side of the map, you can see he's got more gold than Victor, he's got more EXP than Victor, and Victor, who also took Avarice, as long as Lil plays a passive game and minimizes
いや、俺起きてますよ。寝てない、寝てない、寝てない。
I guess it's fine for him.
Yeah, no, the range differential is so huge. You have to hit your opponent to get the extra money, and it's not just happening right now for Victor. Zia popping the feathered airstrike. Nagib throwing out those void crystals. Sao just putting up a perimeter with the
日々が上と展開するけど、やばい。あ、フォースに当たった。強い、これは。
Biting down, Shark, his target,
あ
arrow thrown out by Sawa, pushing away the rest of BTK. Na'Vi gonna look to confirm their second turtle.
これタートル取られる
Very
な。
nicely done. Very nicely done for either teams. They have very clear ideas of how they want that fight to shape out. And the moment it's not going their way, they back out there. Turtle slain here, brought to you by the STB. My goodness, so far it's been going pretty good.
Amazing conversion rate for Natos Vincera here. They're gonna go ahead and take that turtle buff, use it to space out top lane, take that turret, and then answer back to mid. They're not gonna let BTK get this for free. Arrow thrown out by Sawa. Trap set in underneath Zane. Oh, look at the burst!
いいダメー
Zane's not
ジ。
happy. Look at that. Oh.
I mean, he will be okay. Okay, he will be okay at the end of it. He needs the recall, unfortunately, and pathing up might not be the greatest option.
It's
Lil's
not
going to get
over.
attacked, and yeah, cross-map plays are being happened.
Natos Vincera very, very mobile. Lil,
Oh, shit.
three-man gank squad down bottom. Victor, finally a little bit of space, room for him to breathe. But Sunset Lover gonna clear this wave just in case Lil comes back soon enough, because next turtle coming down bot.
With 60 seconds on the clock here, the
ちょっと
question
椅
is
子の
how is
足のやつつけよう。
Na'Vi going to be going above and beyond, right? When it comes down to choking out the jungle and really getting ahead in terms of that gold. So far, it's going well. It's
これがあれば
6 minutes
足を伸ばせ
in.
る。
They've got about less than 2 minutes before they start getting into mid game, and so far, BTK making sure that even if they do get cut, there's barely any bleeding.
I would even make the argument BTK is still winning. Because even though they're down in gold with this kind of composition, as long as you don't die so much in the early game, you're doing well because they have a lot of scaling heroes with the Yisun Shin, with Zia on the far side. It's going to hurt later on in the stage of the game. And Brody has a lot of range, but Farsa is the queen of range.
So the pressure's on Na'Vi. Na'Vi has to go really fast. Na'Vi has to use their range, use the early pressure that Sunset Lover and Sao are putting, and make the most of it. You're right, 1 and 2 in 7 minutes. That doesn't really inspire any sort of confidence.
I think the worst part about it all is that Na'Vi is trying to use bush tactics to their advantage, but when you're up against someone like Yishin Shin, the Mountain Shocker just gives you way too much information. They have to come up with a different plan, and I think split pushing is what they've decided on.
And slowly, I think now
using
this time to kind of change up, get their hands on the clutch and change the way that they attack, because instead of looking for fights, instead of looking for kills, they're taking turrets.
Yeah, but I mean the split pushing is
ミドに
confident
張り
here, but I
付
want
け
to
だ
see
ミド
more
めっ
from
ちゃ
them.
どうなんだろう、5分過ぎたら俺も結構ミドのミニを吸うわけじゃないけど、結構ミドにアクはめっちゃかけるけど、ちょっと吸うかも。
Caught out far away from home. Mountain Shocker setting them in, and a jump by Victor. Defender pops the vengeance, pops the Counter Inferno. He's not gonna live. Mobas ain't popping the passive left and right. A lot of crit, a lot of
敵がい
burst.
たら敵にハラスして、
Are ahead
お、
again.
ナイス逃げ。
Can Lil finish
敵がい
this
た
off?
ら
I don't
敵に
think
ハラ
he
ス
does
し
yet.
て、い
He
な
does
か
not
ったら
have torn apart
そこで
memories.
ミニオン処理し
BTK
て
are doing a phenomenal job
寄
now
ってもらう
in
かなんかしてもらうかな
during
よく。
this the mid game so far. With the next Lord coming up, I think, you know, Na'Vi at this point of time,
あとミド殴られたくないのがあるからか
Oh,
も。
they catch him. That's Zia catching a face full of torn apart memory. As you just mentioned, Lil gets it off cooldown, and I think BTK lost track of when it was ready too.
Yep, they hopefully open up mid here, but here comes the Numnon Blast.
Oh, did not get the flicker in, but Nagib a little too
Nice,
confident. Mobazane, free hits to the face.
It's interesting how this
ミドが
fight is
な、
playing
折れ
out.
そう
I
だ
think there's a
な。
lot of disrespect on either side. Na'Vi, you know, using real world manipulation right in front of somebody's face like that, especially when you're up against a jungler who's definitely 2 levels above you. You're hitting above your weight at this point.
Out of your league even. You have a shield as an Eve, but it's not that huge. And just like that, it opened up bottom lane for Victor.
Yeah, and I do have to say, when we talk about Nakib, he has done
5分
it
経ってない
twice
状
now.
態
When
で
he
タート
opened
ル
the
戦に
real
備え
world
て
manipulation in an open space,
タートルが
giving
4
opportunities for BTK
2回目
to
のタート
really
ルかな
put
そした
on the
ら
pressure on him based on his own mistakes. So
2回目
far,
のター
defender
ト
being
ル
the
でも
big
ワンウ
winner
ェーブはあるかもしれ
is
ない。
now.
2ウェーブは
He
ないか
himself
な。
has to watch himself
まあ多
because
分
in
吸
the
っ
stages
てる理由
right
は
now, BTK, oh,
ロインとファーサ
Aegis,
が
Sunset Lover going in front, but nothing's happening.
早くポジ取りしてほしいとか、イセンにお金を渡したいとか、そういう理由があるのかもしれない。
Right now, we can see that Na'Vi has a lot of options, and Lil getting caught out.
BTK doesn't want to stop. Lil's gonna get taken down here. Numenon Blast to
まあ
make sure
吸い
they
すぎ
confirm
な
the
気がす
kill.
るけど。
Shark here at the tip of the real world manipulation. Victor kept in as well. They're happy to go for the 1-for-1 trade.
イセンが一人で
Patience from
頑張ってる。
Sunset Lover. He could have just gone straight on towards Phoveus, but you needed to keep
いやでもこれもうイセンが育つの
have a good time. He
育ち
did, but
待
he
ちだろう
asked
な
for
こ
his eye,
れ
but he doesn't want to give him multiple procs to dodge the damage. So really
ハロー、
looks
ア
like
ステさん
winning
や
for
ん。
Na'Vi. Unfortunately for Lil,
ハ
he
ロ
has
ー。
to pay the price, but at the end of the day, it's going to be BTK.
これもう
who's
モバ
gonna
ゼ
come up on
ン
top in the
が
economic.
育っ
Right now,
て
when we look back at the replay, we can see that Lil is a
モ
little
バ
bit
ゼンゲー
and
しない
this
と
comes to
勝て
question
な
what
さ
he's
そう。
building right now because it's obvious that he
でもイ
has
センが
the
火力出れ
shield,
ばなん
but
と
I'm
かなり
worried
そう
that
だ
he
けど。
prioritizes so much on his defensive capabilities right now to the point where Na'Vi does not have enough damage.
Yeah, basically he's just a torn apart memory machine, and that's it. Like, he has to make sure he has stacks, get the ult in, and that's not the way you play Brody. Ideally, you want to be able to still hurt even with your basics.
At least have a Blade of Despair.
Yeah, at least have that Blade of Despair. That's the one we were looking for.
6700
Now, he's taking a Malefic
いやまだ追いついてないんかランスに。
structures open because they are
ミドは
for their
あでも
secondary
ミドお
mid
金
push,
勝っ
which is
てるん
going
だ
to
け
be
ど
trying to
普
get
通
the
に
mid game with the help of their split pushing powers.
EXP は 左
And
の
right
方
now, the map is
ホール
open
ド
for
でも
BTK.
BTK の
Interestingly
方は
enough, it's these false engages, these wrong entries. And look at this, they're answering back. Sao confirms the kill. All of them were
あーやばい
but it's a trade. Mobazane takes down Lil. The key follows through. 2 for 1 so far. And the
ナイ
Lord
ス
is
逃げ
still
あーやばいやばいやばい
right for the taking. Down goes Sunset Lovers.
あー
Victor
フォビウス
dances
な
right around him.
こいつけど
Defender,
フォビウ
the
スほん
flaming
まに
demon.
好
He's
きだ
running
わ
away. Contra Inferno in tow. Lord has been reset. But
いや
that's
う
still
まい
all 4 members remaining for BTK ready to take this Lord. What a turnaround. What a retake.
Ooh, that was good. That was good coming in from BTK, but Na'Vi needs to realize that going in with so many dashes, I mean, he's having the time of his life here. He's like, when do you want me to use my ultimate? Now? A bit later? I can wait. It's fine. Give me another proc. I don't mind. There's no way they are getting through this absolute trope of BTK when they're surrounding and making sure Mobazane has the space.
BTK はナビ
Hyped up,
I think
Mobazane has not
BTK
disappointed as of right now. Again, people know
Yeah,
him as a
yeah,
marksman main,
Shinagon.
and when he
Yeah,
positions like
LINE
this,
のアイ
even
コ
though
ン
it
デーム
looks
スに
bad,
しよう
it's
かな
still good. And the fact that BTK, they have
ラインのアイ
this
コンデーム
always
ス
look
は
at him
面
and
白い
it's
わ
like, wait, he's a bit out of
ちょっ
position.
と
We have to go to
びっ
him.
くり
We
する
have
わ
to
友達にい
protect
た
him.
ら
And in this kind of situation, BTK looks more experienced in team fights.
Oh, just like that. Nagib
フォビウス
destroyed
楽しいだろうな
by
これ
BTK, and they're not done.
うわ
Shark gets 3.
ー
3 for
すん
none.
げえ
Double
入
kill
っ
for Mobazane,
た
and they're still going in. Sunset Lover, Thorn Rose to survive the assault. Lord marching down bottom. What a synchronous push. Top lane tier 2, bottom lane inhibitor. You could count the seconds before it's over. Because ladies and gentlemen, BTK has come to play. They take down Na'Vi.
GG, well
一斉にだな
played. The Bloodthirsty Kings take their first win here at M3 against Na'Vi. A really good game as well. Great draft overall. It really set in stone how
一斉に
tempo
勝つよ
needs to be controlled here. And you need to have tempo setters, or more so, if you want to be aggressive, you got to be hyper aggressive here. And right now, the way that
ジャングルベイン
Sunset
とか
Lover
じゃダメだっ
understood,
た
and
ん
he
か
got a little
な
scared trying to get in towards that big bodyguard trope that was surrounding Mobazane.
This is a clear-cut example of what when we say, even when you're losing, you're not really losing. One kid go behind, 2 kid go behind, doesn't matter when your team has that much
で
scaling.
きるかは置い
And
といて
again, as we see, Na'Vi is a very experienced team. But in this game, it looks like Team BTK, they have the better team fight because Mobazane look very
フォビ
safe.
ウルトレンド大会してるよ
Doesn't matter if it's in front. And
フォビウルトレンドしてるだけやった
you have to
な
stick it out.
強いわフォビ
A
やっ
lot
ぱ
of mistakes. If he played a little bit better, they could have added
以
more
前使っててもフォビ
pressure
嫌だ
and
から
more
な
pressure.
ジャングルやってたら
Mobazane
ジャングルのキャラ
can't
基
really
本
go
ブリン
and
ク
do
ある
damage
か
as
ら
he did in this game.
Yep,
しんどい
Mobazane knew his outs. And yeah,
アサシンとハンターどっちも
kind of become a little complacent, but he knew when it mattered. When it mattered, Mobazane put his best foot forward and made it count. And I gotta say, we keep bringing up this two-man bodyguard setup that Sunset Lover could not come through. And that's the Phovius and the Esmeralda on Fly Chicken and Victor respectively. We haven't seen this in a while. The two side lane sustains coming up
ちょっ
and
ともう一回見ようかな今の
Yeah, they really did, and I think
a little
Offensive capabilities right now to the
Victor dances right around him. Defend
offensive capabilities right now to the point where Na'Vi does not have enough damage.
get the ultimate hurt even with your basics.
at least it right now. He's taking a Malefic Roar instead just to kind of break structures open because they are going for their secondary win condition, which is going to be trying to get through the mid game with the help of their split pushing powers.
And right now, the map is open for BTK. Interestingly enough, it's these false engages, these wrong entries. And look at this, they're answering back. Sao confirms the kill, all of their manipulation, but it's a trade. Mobazane takes down Lil. Naki follows through. 2 for 1 so far, and the Lord is still for BTK. Right for the taking. Down goes Sunset Lovers. Victor dances right around him. Defender, the flaming demon. He's running away. Contra Inferno in tow. Lord has been reset, but that's still all 4 members remaining for BTK ready to take this Lord. What a turnaround. What a retake.
Ooh, that was good. That was good coming in from BTK, but Na'Vi needs to realize that going in with so many dashes, I mean, he's having the time of his life here. He's like, when do you want me to use my ultimate? Now? A bit later? I can wait. It's fine. Give me another proc. I don't mind. There's no way they are getting through this absolute trope of BTK when they're surrounding and making sure Mobazane has the space.
確かフォビ フォビエス目セットでしたね。フォビエス目取って高校で、で、3ピック目で一戦だった気がする。得意な形なんかな、これ。
Oh, just like that, Nagib destroyed by BTK, and they're not done. Moving blast, keeping him in check. Shark gets three for none, double kill for Mobazane, and they're still going in. Sunset Lover,
Mobazane のハンター怖いな。
Lord marching down bottom. What a synchronous push. Top lane, tier 2, bottom lane inhibitor. You could count the seconds before it's over. Because, ladies and gentlemen, BTK has come to play. They take down Navi.
GG, well played. The Bloodthirsty Kings take their...
There, have a little bit of HP. Magic resist and the rest. I kind of feel like
デームス石化なんだ。これなんでデームス石化なんやろ。ロインのあれとか止めるため？バーサの鳥とかロインドールと。
especially with that average really trying to go in front, poke you out, but I feel like he really should have won the matchup. And 13 minutes in, looking at Mobazane, first item going for that War Axe, but once he had that Blade of Despair, it almost looked like he abandoned any kind of safety. He was just like, guys, I'm gonna go in, and I want you guys to really protect me. And back in my day, when you have an Esmeralda and a Phovius in the first pick, it's almost GG because they are very tanky.
ブロディドミナントを積んでその後フォビに確かにどっちも辛いだろうな。逃げようとしてもフォビに追いかけられるから。ブロディ自体あんまり得意じゃないよな、エスメとフォビウスが。
The damage is high, the discipline is good. There are a bunch of times where like, oh, he will not survive this, but a good timed Traceless managing to keep him alive.
He's definitely got the mechanics here. There's really no doubt about it, and BTK is coming here to play to try and get into that upper bracket, and that's what everybody's excited for here. Now, this may only be the second game, but at least it gives us a benchmark. Some teams are definitely fielding a lot colder. We'll see how this day progresses.
Yeah.
They'll start warming back up.
There's so much that Mobazane brought up here, and
やっぱウォリアー、最初ラウス痛かったしな。ウォリアー吐くわな。
more aware and use his strengths as a marksman specialist to bag his team a win.
Yeah, however, after this, we are going to look at the highlights, and in the highlights, I also want
to 何でも使えるのはマジででかい気がするわ、モバゼン。
because in M3, everyone is studying everyone. Even if you're not in Group C, you're going to look at all these teams and look at how they play. As of right now, BTK has not changed the overall
最初の3番でニュートとイセンと誰だろう。同時。
is providing one extra layer of strategy.
とか消した方がよかったんじゃないかな。うわ、ロジャーとかグレージャー来るだろうけど。
in any kind of situation, playing a double tanky side laners. But the thing is, when people see this, it's kind of one of those things that it's easy to ban out. Right now, let's look at the highlights for both of these teams, and now we're gonna talk about Navi and the mistakes that they do. And look at Nakib; he's always in the front. This is the first mistake where it's a very dangerous real-world manipulation. And over here, we can see that Lil not only did not get pressure, but he was the one that was pressured all the time. Maybe that's why he was really looking forward to building the Athena shield earlier on. And situations like this, I feel like with the draft, it's obvious that they need to play the early game. They have the Thamus, they have the Eve, they have the Selena, but it almost feels like they quickly adjusted and it's like, guys, we need to do some split pushing over here, which is great. But what happened to your earlier win condition, the one that I would argue is more easy to execute? And when it comes to the point where Team BTK, they already have at least 2 items, it's very difficult for anything from the side of Navi to really contest. The damage is strong.
いつなもう少し最近に1回ナーフされたから、まあまたされそうなキャラ性能ではあるけど。
They pivoted too soon and did not stick with their whole strategy from
で
the
も
early game to the mid game to the late, and
あ
they
と
get
1
punished
切り
that so
替
hard.
え
Yeah, I think they put their foot on the clutch a little
あと
too
1、2
early
回
as
来
they
そうな
did
気は
games.
するけど。
That's a little sad to see, but that's fine. There's still plenty of games to be happening here today. It's great to see BTK in the current position that they are in. It looks like they have a
で
very
もあと
clear
1
idea
回来ても
and
ま
plan
だ
when it comes
全
to
然
drafting
余裕あるな。
even when they are in game, which is going to give a lot of North America that hope that they're looking for, especially since there hasn't been enough representation here coming up from our Western partners.
Yep, and again, we just saw a whole another flavor of Mlbb from across the world. Once more, we're coming at you live from Singapore. This is M3. We're going to go into a quick break. When we come back, there'll be more matches from the group stages of the World Championships. My name is Leo. This right here is Gideon and LaFell. M3 is powered by Moonton, presented to you by TikTok Live, and supported by the Singapore Tourism Board. Don't go anywhere.
はあ、よいしょ。めちゃくちゃモバレしたくなるわ。はあ、
I'm burning up now, thinking higher levels. I'm in a bad spot, trouble to my knees. I need a taste sipping on heaven. You got me waiting, waiting.
うお、熱い BTK 対
Chasing trophies got me ready, don't you
シンガポール。
power of the champion.
うわ、熱いよ、これ。
Running, got me running for the glory. Good to let this go. Burning up now, nothing's gonna stop me. I'm going faster, wanna break away. I love the way it feels. It's the adrenaline, we're going all the way. 'Cause we never ever going down. You got me walking through the fire. We don't catch a slide when we were young. Never run from the fight, yeah, we come to the top. Never run from the fight, all the way to the top. Never run from the fight, yeah, we rise to the top. Burning up now, nothing's gonna stop me. I'm going faster, wanna break away. I love the way it feels. It's the adrenaline, we're going all the way. 'Cause we never ever going down. You got me walking through the fire. We don't catch a slide when we were young. Never run from the fight, yeah, we come to the top. Never run from the fight, all the way to the top. Never run from the fight, yeah, we rise to the top. Burning up now, nothing's gonna stop me. Oh baby, please, oh yeah. 'Cause we never ever going down. You got me walking through the fire. We don't catch a slide when we were young. Never run from the fight, yeah, we come to the top. Never run from the fight, all the way to the top. Never run from the fight, yeah, we rise to the top.
前澤さん、宇宙行くんや。
Only through our hard work and dedication can we become Singapore's athletes and honor our nation.
今ちょっとね、眠すぎるんよな。嘘でしょ？あ、これ何？なんだ。30分くらい待たされんのかと思ったわ。これ俺押してるんか、ボタン。寝てないんですか？寝たんだけどね。あって、めっちゃ当たるんだけど、よく。寝たんだけど、眠い。ドンキーのサムネのナビ、面白。ドンキーがさ、この M3 の動画をさ、毎試合上げてるんだけどさ、そのサムネがさ、モバゼーンと、そのナビ、さっき言ってた、ドタにいる、ドタで有名なダンディって人がいるんだけど、ナビに入ってて。もう、その人出てないのに、その人がサムネになってるわ。あ、時間あるなら、ちょっと待ってね。
Let's go.
The M3 World Championship continues here at Suntech Singapore. Back at it again with the Group of Life, Group C. We've seen two incredible matches already where again BTK and Evo Singapore have been able to get the dub. It is me here, Mirko, joined by our casters, Wolf and Lafel. How are y'all doing? We are about to see the battle for the first place.
I'm just happy because you actually caught Lafel off guard. He did not... He did not expect that Group of Life, like you're gonna call it. But yeah, we were talking about this during the break. Me and Mirko, where we aren't casting the first two games, and we were talking about that this particular group is kind of interesting because it could mean a lot for, obviously, for the teams in here. But at the same time,
画面待ってくだ
it's gonna
さ
be
い
very close. That's why it's called the Group of
戻
Life.
します
Not the opposite of Group of Death, but
もうちょっ
you
と
get what I mean.
待ってく
That's
だ
a
さ
big
い
sign out all there. But yeah, I am excited seeing BTK giving the first victory over to Yisun Shin. Yisun Shin has a 0% win rate. Selena still have a 0% win rate. But still, if anyone could do it, it's Mobile Zane. But both of these teams starts out with actually a very similar style of gameplay. Both of them really like the marksmen. They like going to the later stage of the game. It's just that it looks like Team BTK, they don't mind ending the game a little bit earlier. And Team EVOS MG, they are very complicated. I hope they don't overcomplicate things going up against BTK because I feel like if they shut down Silence, could be pretty good for EVOS themselves.
Both of the teams here, again, the battle for the first place here at the Group of Life. But ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder to all of you at home, the M3 World Championships wouldn't be as good as it is without our sponsors. Powered by Moonton, supported by the Singapore Tourism Board, and presented to you by TikTok Live. Welcome back to the Group of Life, where in Singapore, Suntech Singapore, like I mentioned, are you guys looking forward to visit Singapore? What would you want to do differently, all right? Follow at visit_Singapore, and don't forget to hashtag #PassionMadePossible to share what you're looking forward to do in Singapore, because we want to know what you're trying to do here. I personally want to know because I want to explore Singapore a little bit more.
Oh yeah, Singapore has been great. It is amazing. But we do have to talk a little bit about what has happened today in both of the games that we have seen, where Team EVOS SG completely shut down See You Soon. See You Soon could not do anything based on the draft, based on anything. They cannot be shut down. So right now, let's look at the standings to refresh where everyone stands. And as of right now, it has been clear that the two top teams, as of right now, in the Group of Life, kind of a group of Rafaela or Estes, where a lot of feeling is going to go down. BTK as well as EVOS Singapore are on the top of the board. Navi and See You Soon has not had the best first game. However, as we've seen yesterday with Cade, just because they lost the first game doesn't mean they can't pick up the tempo going up in the second game. Wolf, looking at BTK and EVOS, how excited are you that one of these teams are going to get a lose?
戻します
I'm not particularly excited about that.
Oh, no.
But nevertheless, I think for BTK, you saw them very comfortable with their composition. That's also true with EVOS, because I've been following EVOS SG for quite a long time now, and I think it's one of their best performances in the world stage. You have seen them in M1 and in M2. Their performance in their first game today just proved that they are comfortable in this composition of the lineup that they have. Potato has been more on the playmaking side of things, while you put almost all of your eggs in this basket that we call Adamir. And Adamir was really phenomenal ever since their MPL run. and I'm excited to see more about BT for Evil's Legends. For BTK, however, I thought that they're not in control at all in the early stages, and they're making some mistakes even in the team fights. But come the mid game and the late game, that's where they strike. I think that they're more into that kind of thing where they want to group up together and they want to execute together as a team, and with the leadership of I don't know actually who he is, the actual shot caller of the team, but with Mlbb and Zia in there, I think that the way that they managed to utilize their Yi and Shin in a more, I would say, killing manner, because normally when you go for Yi and Shin, you want to go for those objectives, but the way that they tackled the mid game and the late game, they were in it for the kill. That's why I feel that this will be a good showdown on how they are going to use their junglers, Potato versus Mlbb.
Speaking about, I mean, it's on this point, right? On that note, I do want to take note about both of the teams here, but I also want to take note about our sponsors here who have just been amazing throughout the tournament. Obviously, we have our official gaming gear, Razer, official travel partner, Toomey, official gaming chair, Secret Lab, official payment partner, Frank by OCBC, official network partner, Singtel 5G, our partner in esports, MeWatch, and our global social network partner, Facebook Gaming. Now, again, going back to that point earlier, Evo Singapore and BTK, both of these teams have very similar styles. They want to go for that marksman, they want to go for that late game front to back kind of style of team fights, and what's different is, like you mentioned, BTK, they are a team who kind of struggles in the early game. We saw Na'Vi, they were able to actually get the tempo earlier on, but BTK, they recovered really well. Whereas Evo Singapore, they're really good at suffocating their opponents from the get-go, getting the objectives rolling and snowballing it into the game.
Yeah, however, I do want to see if EVOS manages to get any kind of early lead. I want them to really slice the throat very, very quickly, because looking at the game times for today, right? The game of BTK, they ended it in 13 minutes. So the moment they get any kind of advantage, they just roll with it. But for Team EVOS, I would argue that they they still managed to push the game over 20 minutes. So as of right now, between both of these teams, EVOS, they have quite a clear win condition. It's just that, can they confidently execute it? Whereas from BTK, they have a single way of gameplay that we have seen that has worked very well. Now that is good, but it's still susceptible to getting countered. One of the ways is if you just ban out either the Phobius or Esmeralda, then that might spell trouble.
That might spell trouble again. Yeah, from the side of BTK, we don't have a lot of data from them. But from the side of Evo Singapore, it's really easy to go to take some, take some information with you due to their MPL in SG. But this is the official lineup for the side of Evo Singapore, the hometown boys. It's gonna be Sayla, Gear, Adamir, Potato, and JPL. They've done it in the first game against Seosun. Many actually predicted that Seosun would be the victors in that matchup. But Evo Singapore, so far, they've gotten the hometown buff.
Yeah, maybe, and as well as the fact that they have the veterans in, right? If you're looking at Seosun, probably for their first rodeo here in the international scene, but for like a world championship, Potato and JPL, so many times they have been the stalwarts of Evo's Singapore, and Singapore at that as well, because of how long they have been part of the team, and they are leading this squad really well.
Yeah, right now let's look at Team BTK. We got Zia, White Chicken, Victor, Mlbb, and Shark. Shark bringing out that Lolita actually did perform very well, hitting the Nominum Blast whenever it was very, very necessary. But again, the two side laners over here, White Chicken and Victor. Even though Victor is a gold laner, he does seem like I'm a very EXP laner kind of guy.
BTK 対シンガポール SG は熱い。これが勝った方があれよ。もうこのグループの1位。
Yeah, this is what they typically call the double fighter setup in the side lanes. Well, technically speaking, both Esmeralda and Phobius, they're not like, fighters, but you play them the same way. It's like double off lane in a way, right? Because
多分1位か2位はここだと思うんだよな。
And in this case, it is Mlbb. Yi and Shin as a hero is still counted as, it can still be considered as a marksman, where you just put in a lot of items and then eventually take over the mid and the late game. And maybe that is one thing that we can expect them come in from their win against the Na'Vi. Especially when we look at their composition, they eventually got the Lolita. And when I see Lolita, this brings me back to the olden days wherein you funnel everything into your, well, it was then called the mid laner, or the hyper carry, or the funnel receiver, whatsoever. You know what I'm talking about, right? So BTK, the identity that they have shown us in game number 1, in their first game, might be just to put everything into that jungle role. And I'm excited to see how Mobazane will flex himself in the world stage.
Absolutely. Mobazane has got to prove himself even more here. But ladies and gentlemen, I see a lot of support in the comment section right now. BTK this, I see Evo Singapore that. But there is another way for you guys to support your team. Go ahead, get in the game, because we prepared exclusive battle emotes for all 16 teams, and each battle emote has a voiceover, right? You can support your favorite team from November 29th until December 12th. You can cheer for your team by adding support points. Log into the game and get a free chance to support your team every single day. After the event ends, the team with the most support will be presented with Player's Choice Team of M3 award at the official site of the M3 World Championships. However, contract restrictions, MVG's battle emote is not for sale at the time, but do that. But okay, one more thing.
ちょっと眠いときさ、この司会してる声で寝ちゃいそうになるわ。
Building around Mobazane as the king of marksmen, and so far he hasn't disappointed.
Yeah, right now Mobazane is in the MOBA zone.
モバゼーン、いや、これは楽しみすぎるわ。今日のもうメインイベント。
He plays this Shin pretty well as well. He goes by the name of Uish. I'm not so sure if a lot of people know about this guy. He's actually pretty good. And
MPL level.
MPL level. Kind of like the way that he plays is kind of like Mobazane. He's in the zone. So right now, looking at both of these teams, right? I'm really looking forward to the first half of the game, because JPL, the way that he played against Yisun, he really heavily pressured the jungler, making him fall really behind in terms of level, in terms of gold. Can he do the same thing for Mobazane? And Potato, JPL has done extraordinarily well. I like it. But Potato, I feel like he can do much better. So in terms of junglers, I would say Mobazane looks good. However, JPL does have the level of experience and annoyingness to make him look not so clean, especially in the early stages of the game.
Absolutely. But you know what's even like scarier from this Evo Singapore lineup right here? Wolf and Lafell. Evo Singapore, they're a team who likes to warm up. They take their time to get into the game. Usually their first games are really long. Then the second, third, when they start to get rolling, they don't stop. You can't stop them. They are a bullet train at that point. And this is going to be the second game. Not only just winning that first game, but this is where usually Prime Evo Singapore comes out.
And they absolutely know what they're looking, what they are going to be facing. Because BTK already played Na'Vi right after Evo's played See You Soon. So now they were able to watch the game. They know what BTK wants. Maybe they can crack open the dent in the armor of BTK, which is all about that early game control. And I think that Lafell also mentioned this for a little bit. I'm sorry, Mirko mentioned this. Evos, they're very good at like choking their enemies in the early stages. And that might be the dent in the armor of BTK. Evos, after watching that match between BTK and Na'Vi, can abuse that factor, have a Potato on more aggressive heroes, maybe, yeah, something like the Karina we're talking about, or maybe something somewhere along the lines of Hayabusa or Ling, where it can use the assassin early game spike so that they can make the space for Adamir. And Adamir has been the great anchor of Evo's SG. And if I'm not mistaken, it's also the MVP of the MPL Singapore. So that should be the approach now.
はい、I am come back. はい。おお、もうやばい。やっぱそう。うわー、来た、これ。絶対これよ。もう BTK にはこの番が一番いい、絶対。ロジャーなんだ。まあでもそうだよね。グレンジャーは グレンジャーよりまだロジャーの方がめんどくさいもんな。ハンターで強いのはやっぱこの3枚になりそう。どうするんだろうね。グレンジャーとかやっぱ出てくるんかな。あと何いたっけ。グレグレと何がいるんだ。 MM になるんだったら。10番が最初3番できるからな。ほんと竹番ができる。ブルーのか。ちょっと今の環境そんななんよな、ブルーの。ブルーのグレンジャー。でも出るならグレンジャーだろう。グレンジャーでしょう。S 目。いや、グレンジャーですよね。まあ、消されちゃうもんな、ここで取らんと。絶対消える。これでモバゼンのヒーロープールがバレた。この4枚。
You know what they say about the Phobius? It's unplayable when the Esmeralda is in the opponent's side. So Evo's SG, they're given quite a gift here in the side lanes, particularly in the XP lane. They can put the Beatrix in the gold lane or maybe in the mid lane. So this is still very much a flex opener for Evos. What they can do now is get their assassins, knowing that this is Eve as well as the Granger. Very squishy targets, very mobile. There's a lot of damage from long distance, but if you cut into deep, if you're able to just into the face of this Granger and Eve, to be perfect.
ベインジャングルかな。
Huge right now, but the Granger pick, I want to touch on that even more, maybe even elaborate on it, because this is we can kind of say it's a non-meta pick. It has gone down the whole of the heroes that are meta here, alright? Sure, they did it in the
そう、3つ潰させてくんのはね、結構美味しいとは思う。なんなら嬉しいまである、これは。全部消されたら。
We saw the Yusenshin earlier on. It was 0% before Moba Zane performed on it. Will it be Moba Zane?
嬉しいけど、これで勝ったらもっと嬉しいだろうな。これで負けたらこれ消せばいいって思われちゃうから。この俺をファン枠全部タゲ版に使っても無理だよっていうことをこのイボス SG に分からせればもうニコニコよ。やっぱクリント嫌なんだね、あれ BTK は。グレってキャラパー的に今きつくない。ニュートとかイスンとかロジャーに比べたらやっぱちょっと劣っちゃうんだよね。劣っちゃうかもしれないですね。ただまだいける気はします。この3体が消えたらやっぱグレンジャーがいいんじゃないかな、一番。
I don't believe it. It doesn't matter so much to me, but I do agree with Lafel here. The lack of dashes for Evos is, I don't know. Okay, go ahead. I mean, should it matter?
そうですね。これ勝ちたいな、BTK。これでモバゼーンじゃなくて別の人が暴れたら、 でもこれ結構強いんじゃないかな。でもフォビウスこれ評価高いんかね。なんかさっきも取ってたけど、これイブ先行で取って S 目なんであれなんだろう。あ、イブそういうことかな。イブでさ、ウルト、イブのウルトから逃げるためにフラッシュ使ったやつをフォビウスで追いかけるつもりなんかな。イブグレンジャーの攻撃を受けるか、フォビウスに追いかけられるか。すごいな、ファイターも結構消えてるな。すごい綺麗な消え方してる、右側。MM3 枚と EXP2 枚消えとる。お、ゴールド竜これサイド大丈夫か。
There's a choice for Evo's SG to go for the Beatrix in the gold lane or maybe in the mid lane, which means that this last pick will reveal what their choice will be.
フィールド美味しいな、これ。美味しいけど、グレの攻撃に耐えられるか、S 目が。アルタイオも、あ、そうなんだ。日本フォビー使う人あんまりいないからな、経験値レーナーで。俺の中のイメージもアイリスさんとかすごい好きそう。フォビウスあんま好きで使う人はいなさそう。フォビウスでも使えたら楽しそうだなとは思うんだけどな。
Right now, as it stands, 5 picks already for both of the teams. Your thoughts?
Right now, since we are talking about marine life, Team BTK with
これ今のところそうですね。イボス SG の方が若干強い。若干でもないな。強い。構成は右の方がもう勝ってるけど、これ竜きつい。きつくないか。結構まあとりあえず試合を見ましょう。
It's time to see whether they are able to execute that game plan here. It's a very, very good drafting phase. Let's enter the land of
そうですね。イボス SG さっきもバンピックうまかったから、これはまたさっきと同じような感じでドラフト勝ちしちゃうんかな。やっぱミドビアが流行ってるな。ゴールダーモンか。まずはミドはこれずるい。勝ってたのにビアのせいで。取られたか。これビアトリックス早いな、ミニオン処理。
Pun intended, a deadly trio from the mid lane. So Evo's SG, they were known for being, choking their opponents in the early stages. That is what we saw in the first game. Maybe they can do it once again. As I would say, when they get the first turtle, this is going to be a big snowball already for Evo's SG.
Yeah, we'll just have to see again how this plays out because BTK, remember, they are a team that actually they kind of let their enemy get that early game stage. That early phase isn't that much of a big deal for BTK. They usually start rounding up in the mid stages of the game, but going against someone like Evo Singapore, a team that really knows how to use that early game advantage to bring themselves, to pull themselves into that good mid game stage as well. Let's see what happens. It's going to be Victor joining in. JPL forced to back away for now.
ベインがそこで触りに行った。
で、
スメが先流ししてるから。
see
経験
that
値連は
already BTK are calling everyone.
まあ見に
They
行った
have
けど、
the
あ、まだ半分だ。
ultimate
まだ間に合い
Phobius,
そう。
but again, the Esmeralda is available.
お、イブのウルト来た。あー、やばい。エスメがずるい、ずるい、エスメがずるい。あ、タートル離れた。
Every single member still managing to get out of the situation of the
ター
first
トルリセット。
turtle
お、
fight. But wait, potato, yeah,
大丈夫か。
everyone gets away with a sliver of health.
お
Yeah,
ー、
everybody activated
危な。
their ultimate as well, except the Phobius, which we know. No, we didn't
竜が
because
勝っとる
SG
ア
doesn't
モ
have
ンに。
the majority of the dashes. Just can't top it.
Yeah, he got the setup right for that ultimate, but again, he didn't want to overcommit into that. They didn't know what they were doing. Again, BTK, what they want to do in the early stages right now is just play chill. As long as we are able to reset, basically like push Evo Singapore away from the objectives, we will be able to get that mid-game power spike, and it's going to be huge.
Yeah, and right now I do. Oh, hold on, we can see.
いい勝負してる。
Skirmish, but no. Right now I do want to contest the claim that Team BTK did
あ
to play in a
あー、
Nova Zane.
Nova Zane gets picked up. That's your
これずるい、ラファとビア。
That was sharp.
ラファビア、
Play for the side of Evo
昨日も見たけど
Singapore.
強かったな。
Nova Zane wants to
ラファのウルトからの SMG のウルトが
with the initial
強すぎる、これ。
initial kill.
Now the thing is, Mobazane, he can play well in the late game. However, Granger is more of an early to mid stages hero. Whereas
熱中率をしっかり勝っていくと。
with the Beatrix, with the Potato on the Bane, they have a lot more going for them going to the later stages of the game. So actually BTK, they're the ones that have to pick up the pace. And this is why I say Victor is the one that we should look at. Because if Cho does well, if Cho can deal with the Beatrix, if Cho can deal with Adamir on this Amon, then they're gonna lack a little bit of damage, and maybe that's why, that's how.
火炎なんでワンチャン取りに行くけど
Right now, it is going to be Evo
無理で
Singapore
した。
slaying the first turtle presented to you by the Singapore Tourism Board. But that was really good from the side of Evo Singapore. Not only did they just get a very good pick, but look at who got the kill.
Yeah, it was definitely
うーん
the jungler coming out from Evo's SG with level 7 at this point, having a little bit of lead by Mobazane. And this is not only because he was able to get the turtle. In fact, Evo's SG doing great using this Beatrix plus the Rafaela combo to get some of the jungle creeps of BTK. You saw them take the Rock Horsa, and when you make these kind of disadvantages against your opponent's jungle, you give eventually the advantage to your jungler. It's like you're not directly giving the gold to your jungler, you're just increasing the deficit of the opposing jungler so that they will have to reach for more when trying to at least catch up with your own jungler. It's very smart coming up from Evo's SG to come up with that.
Yeah, Evo Singapore, again, the very just intelligent gameplay coming in from the Singaporean side. What they like to do is play, not aggressive in the early game, actually.
あ、洗礼か。
1v1 against Victor.
あ
Almost gets picked
ー、やば
up,
い。
but there you go.
いえ
It's gonna be the Darth Vader emote coming out as he backs away. Adamir, knowing that he's still in the bush, tries to
強い
jump
な。
away from that minion. He will be able to chunk that turret really, really low, and that is great setup for the next turtle. That is spawning in 30
BTK ですね。
seconds here.
やり
So far, 5
いや
minutes into the
これ
game.
B になってると思いますよ。俺は B に見えるけど。
mentioned so many times about the snowballing potential of this hero.
Right now, Evo's SG, they've won it all.
あれかなアルファベット、小文字の A に見えるってことかな
Is this going to be a death? The Detonata has been popped. Sayla
確かに小文字の A に見える。
back away from that
ATK
bush right now. Evo Singapore though, they have rotated. They have put their resources in the mid lane. BTK will do the same, and they will be able to get the prio in that mid lane
ぽい
right
っ
now.
すね。
You can see that
まあ A に見え
BTK
ない
are
ことも
gonna
ない
make
け
a
ど
move。on it. This is really good. Look at the positioning from Victor as well as
あ、
Shark.
次はグレンジャーが
Mobazane,
先に
as
触れ
much as he's
て、
not leading by a lot,
ただこれ、
at least
お、
they
イブのウルト入
Yeah,
っ
real
て、
motivation has been popped. It's going to be JPL going in, and look at the follow-up
いや、
from here.
エスメから狙うけど、エスメが落ちん。
It's going to be the turtle slain and a 1-4-0. Victor gets taken out.
Great idea from Victor, but
エスメがな
execution,
先に
because
来
he
ちゃっ
had
た
no
からな
follow-up, and he wanted to stun and control the Bane while they're trying to go for the retribution battle, but they still lost it because it wasn't synced perfectly well. And this is the big problem when you have the deadly catch from your opposing.
グレンジャーもファームする場所ずっと奪われてるし、下側。
Rock Orsa away from BTK, jungle creeps
結構
being
きついんじゃないか
denied
な
from the jungler of BTK means that more the deficit, I mean, between two junglers, the difference when it comes to their gold is just gonna increase from this point on.
Oh yeah, Victor. Oh, very aggressively moving forward.
あー惜しい。蹴りあと5秒あれば5秒あればフラッシュウルトできたのに。ウルトフラッシュか。ちょっとゴールドはもうめんどくさいな。うわ、ビアいた。
Matilda Romer so far not able to get a very good impact in terms of the rotations here.
It's going to be very difficult for BTK. We're not really favoring their composition, and at the same time, they're not having the great time in the early stages of the game where they should be flourishing. Maybe if they get a move up top, maybe something might change.
Yeah, BTK, they choose to rotate to the top side. Mobazane will just go for the gold buff, and nothing much comes out of it. Evo Singapore, wait a minute though.
やばいやばい。おー、見えてる見えてる。
Mobazane catches them off guard. They will be able to find that. Evo Singapore are waiting for them, but that's not a connect. JP is going to be target instantly taken down right now. Shark finds the first
これベインのウルト強い。
catch as well to disengage in 18 seconds to the third and final turtle here in the game with one of the members down for Evo Singapore. BTK, they're looking to push even more, and Victor goes in for Victor all the way, gets Sayla, but unfortunately doesn't get any follow-up from his team. BTK cutting away, it's going to be gear taken very low. Potato joins in, nothing, no gap closer. It is an immobile.
またタートル。
Yeah, that's correct.
ボス SG が取りそう。
As immobile as he is, or maybe just slow, maybe not immobile, maybe just slow as compared to what you want him to be. For example, if he has got the Matilda, it can be more tempo-based, but because of the fact that they're just really poking BTK out, the turtle is easily taken by Evo's SG, further increasing their lead by 4,000 gold in almost 9 minutes of game time. And this means that Evo's SG, they are on time. You can see that Sayla eventually will get his second item after the Blade of Despair, and that's going to be scary. You're going to see like the Golden Amon together with this Matrix dealing so much damage from long distance. Imagine this, Sayla will just pop the ultimate, the Beerus Passion, and everybody will go low. Amon to finish it up, and Bane to just zone out the other members of BTK. I would say everything is going perfectly well.
戦例強いな。アモン殺せないのこれつら。アモンがフラッシュとかだったら、おお。アモンがフラッシュとかだったらワンチャンやれるけど。戦例だから絶対に逃げられる。
They're kind of doing what they were supposed to do. Victor is supposed to go very, very aggressive on Sayla, which he has tried. He already has a blade.
そうですね。トビもエスメ苦手だし、リュウも別にアモンに勝ってるわけじゃないから、しんどそう。
And Mobazane, usually in this kind of situation, there will be times where he will be out of position trying to get that kill.
見てる感じやっぱエスメが先に寄ってくんのかな。
Look at that! That snipe!
Oh my goodness! That looked better the second time you saw it. My God! And Sayla,
エスメが先に寄ってきてフォビが後から来るけど間に合わない。
Almost hit
him,
it, but that's gonna hurt.
Okay.
That was on purpose, yeah.
What was the strategy behind that miss?
The strategy is fear, inflicting fear. It's like, I want you to know that I am here, and if you try to kill me, the reverse, I'm gonna pull out the reverse card.
Okay, Uno reverse card, but this is not looking good for BTK Wolf. What do they... honestly, I have TikTok live Lord Cam already showing that Lord is spawning in, and Evo Singapore, they have a huge lead right now. Shark will be able to open up that bush a little bit more, getting some vision.
まだあそこで取るべきではなかったかもしれないですね、さすがに。
Shark just missing out, not catching someone on that bush. It is going to be gear taking him to half HP. And on the other side, welcome to Singapore. Well, where fried chicken is served on a silver platter right now with a 1-0. Evo Singapore are gonna look for the Lord.
You can see damage out of Amon, not even needing to execute whatsoever. And now they're fighting. They know that they have the advantage. No explainer for BTK means no playmaker.
Oh my God!
エスメがいいウルト入ってる。エスメが強い。エスメが強い。無理無理。エスメ無理。この時のエスメマジで地獄よ。
Unfortunately for BTK, that's a very wrong decision on their part. They didn't have their phobias, which means that majority of their team fight is not present. And Evo's SG took full advantage of that. They're not even taking the Lord now. They want to take down the turret in the mid lane because they know that they can press their advantage, knowing that BTK only has got 2.
サイドのキャラがすごい渋 渋いですね。
Lord, that was beautiful by Evo Singapore. They know exactly what they need to do here. They have the gold lead. Why do we need to go for crazy fights? We'll just bait them, use the setup, and take them into an uncomfortable position. They need to be doing something desperately. We are just chilling. We'll wait for the objectives to come to us.
ホビー取ったのがちょっと痛そうだな、これ。
For their time to strike.
Right now, STB should really,
何かいなかったのかな、
really
他に。
sponsor Team EVOS Singapore because right now, EVOS, they're really showing the experience we casters have in Singapore. They're very
リ
clean.
ズムが先入るけど
Very clean and very,
エ
aggressive
スベが削れません。
They know where to be. I think their decision making is perfect. I want to say for EVOS SG, if they keep on, if other teams will be facing them, they have to always look for the early stages of the game for EVOS SG. And not only that, the drafting for EVOS SG in this particular game was perfect to add to the fact that BGK might have wrong decisions in the drafting. For example, like picking up the Phobius even when the Esmeralda is already picked up by EVOS SG. And then paired up even with the Matilda. I mean, if you're going to play the Esmeralda gear, you're going to really have a good time. Almost everybody from BTK has got shields.
Enhanced Lord marching down. The shields won't matter that much anymore. It's going to be gear just zoning away all the members. And Deadly Catch as well to finish off that inhibitor turret now. With all three lanes pushing in, they are going to go and zone BTK even more, even in their base. And this is the thing. BTK, they can't look for any re-engages. They can't look for anything at this point because EVO Singapore, they're positioning themselves really well. And BTK, they cannot risk anything in their base. One pickoff is all EVO's needs to end it, man.
Oh, I wonder. They're just going to pop the Deadly Catch and not care at all about what BTK feels. And look at top lane already. There's Amon just pushing it out. 4-0 and 1 on Adamir. Anybody who shows himself into the top lane will meet the blades of Adamir, and that's exactly what is going to happen against Fight Chicken.
Absolutely, man. Death Sonata coming out again to get to relieve some pressure off of the base, but you can see how EVO
そうですね。じゃないとフォビーとリュウ取る理由がないんで、フォビーピックも得意だから取ったけど。
It's already way past that Miracle because Mobazane he has to miss his power spike. He's supposed to be strong early in the game before he gets any
世界大会では通用しないよと PS だけじゃ。
EVOS SG, they're just flexing right now because they have been doing everything right. Adamir not even looking all that aggressive, but getting a lot of kills. And here, the KDA doesn't show it, but he has been putting so much pressure, especially flanking to the side, making sure that wherever BTK runs, it's the wrong decision.
Oh no, again, Victor tries to open up the map, but he's gonna get caught out in the process right now. And EVO Singapore, they are gonna run wild, but look at that, patient as just so patient here in the game. They go for a kill, they pick it up, and instantly go back to setting up. They don't force anything to happen. They wait for things to come to them, and so far, BTK has been serving them a very delicious dinner.
And that also meant that they're not dying as much. In fact, they have only died once, and that is on JPL, their support, their position 5, which means that EVOS SG are really reaping the benefits of them being so careful around this particular game. They know as well that their game is much better than BTK anyways, so they're not really on the rush now for game.
ラファ強いですね。こうなったらもうラファ死ななそう。
And BTK really wants to make a move, but will not find anything from that play.
EVO Singapore, they're literally capitalizing on every single mistake that BTK does. You see the positioning from JPL. You can see that they've done their homework just from there. The positioning, he waited in that bush, and he knows that previously perhaps BTK, they don't really check for bushes here, and that's the reason EVO Singapore have been able to go for so many catches.
Potato just stealing away so much away from BTK. They have already taken out the purple buff.
ミドとジャングルのキャラで火力が足りるんだったら2ファイターとかでもいいかもしれないけどグレンジャーもイブもまあすごい火力が出るわけじゃないからちょっと本当サイドのキャラがすごい渋い気がするリュウの修正するならリュウのところをゴールドEXP のところを他のやつにするべきだった気がする。BTK レートの勝ちだね。いやー正直ないですね。
and the Purify being used.
お互い
Evo's SG, they
フルビルドにな
need
って
4 members
も
to take out the Lord, and
火
they
力が
were able to do
足り
it
な
so
くな
quickly.
足りない
Now
と
the
思う
bottom
な
lane
これ
has
は
been taken down. And what can you do if you're BTK? You're down one hero.
Oh my lord, look at Gear. He's playing it so disrespectfully, but look at that. It's going to be actually Fly Chicken jumping to the backside. He's going to get taken down right before he can pop Demonic Force for a second time. Now, an all-out fight breaks loose. Adamir tries to go for red, but Mace is simply going to be targeted, and that's going to be the game for the hometown representatives. Singapore takes game number 3.
No matter what happens, they are going to be in the upper bracket, be it top 1 or top 2. With 2 back-to-back victories, the Evo's SG
これ
squad have been
BTK ちょっと
raising
ピン
the
チなんじゃ
banner
な
of
い
Singapore.
Yeah, right now I'm going to
これ消したらいけるって
and I hope that my co-casters will receive it better. STB should really sponsor Team EVOS SG because they have been clean. They have been very clean. If EVOS is the country of Singapore, we can definitely say that it's such a safe country. Everywhere we go, we feel very, very clean.
Very clean, very methodical.
Just like their gameplay.
Just like their gameplay. Beautifully done.
However, right now, we gotta turn it back to BTK because I've been saying this the entire day. They need more dimensions, and as of right now, we can see that in terms of their draft,
勝ちたかったなこの試合は。
it's very predictable. And if only with one match they're exposed, it's not gonna be an easy run for them in playoffs because we do have to see that in terms of the ban, they ban exactly the same thing, even though they're first pick and they're not the second pick. And the thing is, they still pick up the Phobius, even though it is a naturally bad choice.
Yeah, which is interesting for me because we saw that even the lineup, the drafting we saw from EVO's SG adapted to that. And they're not even like thinking about like, maybe we can go to Nathan, maybe we can let go of the Yi and Shin. No, they straight up banned out those heroes because we know that BTK, they love to run the jungler marksman. And unfortunately, Mlbb wasn't able to
BTK
hold that.
ニュー
And,
3mm 消したら勝てるって思われたの嫌だなこれ。
Absolutely, but now we are about to get a look at the items. What do you need for items? You definitely need a bag here.
Oh yeah, when we're talking about bags, we gotta talk about Sumi because Sumi is the leading international performance luxury brand designed for esports. And overall, I've been using it every single day ever since.
I'm jealous.
Ever since Sumi gave me a bag, I use it every day. If they give me another bag, yes.
Sana all.
Sana all. Thank you very much to me. We're looking forward to it. I hope it comes by. Anyways, let's look at the itemizations for both of these teams.
BTK は Mlbb の構成が得意というのはもはやしてるか。そうですね。ニュートとかにちょっと依存してきたんじゃないかなこれ。ちょっと。
They have studied everyone, and they have been breaking codes over codes. Looking at the itemization over here, let's
モバ前ゲ
this is the problem. 0, 3, and 2.
だった
Think about Granger.
のかなってなっちゃうよなこれを見てる
Even
と。
at level 4, once he has his
チュー
stats,
マ
not
チュー
only
だ。
doesn't have any items yet, he already deals the damage
そう
because
や
he
ですね。
has, based on his passive, some free crits.
そうですね。エスメが先、エスメとビアが最初に取ってきたから、その後に、やば、振られた。フォビウスとマチルダだっけ？ あ、違う、グレンジャーか。フォビウスとグレンジャー。最後にマチルダとリュウだっけ？やっぱアサシンとかファイタージャングルをしてこないってわかるからバンしやすいのかなやっぱり。10番になると2番だったらね開くからいけるけどやっぱ10番になると本当に影番始まるからちょっとお手洗いに行ってきます。目が覚めました。そうですね。その構成できるならするべき
0-4 match getting
こ
in
の構成の練習をしといた
Still
方が良かった気がする BTK は。
and overall, Beatrix
こ
is a problem.
この3番が全部 MM バンされるっていう
Great!
予測をして、
That
ゴールド MM の
completely agree with you because
ファイタージャングルとかを練習しとくべきだったのかもしれない。
because not only does it like excel
よいしょ。
in game, it also excels in the draft. Imagine like first picking, or at least in the first place, you pick up the Beatrix, you already put pressure because you don't know if it's going to be gold lane or in the mid lane.
Absolutely, and one thing I do want to mention, okay, Sayla, yeah, obviously the MVP, we gotta shine him through, but what's even more impressive is that, did you guys notice BTK weren't able to get a single turret in that game? Evo Singapore were untouchable. Literally 0 turrets.
Yeah,
Take it.
later on we're going to look at the highlights, and it's very easy to see why. They can't win any lanes. Now imagine this. You already lose the draft. Now you got to go back to your own mechanics. And we're going to look at the highlights and see how far did BTK go close to the turrets on the side of EVOS. And over here we can see Mobazane get caught. He was caught 2 or 3 times. And in this kind of situation, the damage from the side of EVOS is so big because of the AoE damage coming out from the Beatrix, coming out from the Bane. And even though Zia tried to lock down with the real world manipulation, let's look at Gear. Gear always being in the backside, making it into a problem, making it undesirable to really be opening up the real world manipulation because you're always going to get targeted. And how is BTK supposed to get any turrets when every side is pushing? How can you win a 1v1 against Adamir? If you can't win 1v1 against Adamir, do not even talk to me about getting any turrets.
Absolutely, man. Again, they just drafted for no winning lanes. One thing I do want to just keep on pointing out is that they picked not just the Phobius into the Esmeralda, but also the Matilda as well. Yev, all right, was a first pick. It's a pretty pyro first pick. It's okay, but going for that Phobius after the Esmeralda, the Matilda as well. I don't know, like, maybe coming into this, if they really wanted to play around that Granger, you guys have any other like, options for them? Instead of the Phobius, instead of Matilda, what would have worked?
ジャングルゲンハ
I think that they should have just banned out the Esmeralda if they were planning to go to Phobius anyways. Because I think the real play
モバゼーンが使うとは
is to
思わな
go
い。
for those tanky or sustainable side laners.
のモバゼーンがジャングルって分かってて、ファイタージャングルをしてこないっていうのがもう
In that case,
分かっちゃってるんだろうな。
anyways, as well as the Eve
だから
and the Matilda, I'm pretty sure that when you're pre-planning the draft, you just ban out the Esmeralda. This game would have been so much easier if Esmeralda was banned out first.
Another thing, I do have
構成がワンパターンすぎるからダメなんだと思う。
I have to expose one of the glaring mistakes right now, okay? Miracle asks, if not Granger, what else could they pick? And here's the situation.
2、
This is a
3
hero
個
that's
もっと
constantly
関
being
東構
banned,
成を
and that is Ling. Ling was open. Ling could have been taken, but this has shown that Mobazin still heavily prioritizes on the marksman, even if it does not look good. He does not want to go to the assassin role or even the fighter role. If he wants to, if he's not so secure using the assassins, he could have still picked up an Aldous and it might be able to work out. So there's still a lot of options on the table, but he still went for that marksman. And this, in my opinion, BTK fans should be worried because all of the other teams are watching and they are learning.
Yeah, with that win over Evo Singapore's board, it is going to be a 3-way tie. Set it up, you know, it's set up already, but we'll have to see what happens here. No Sana on that. We will see you in match number 4. It's been Mirko, Wolf, and LaFell. Remember, M3 is powered by Moonsun, supported by the Singapore Tourism Board, and presented to you by TikTok Live. More M3 is coming your way.
そう考えると、インドネシアのチームはすごい。そうですね、ヒーロープール広いから、俺もそのモバレの上手い人、上手いなって思う基準とかやっぱりヒーロープールになっちゃう。日本に10番はないけど、日本には10番ないけど、やっぱりヒーロープール広いといろんな構成ができるから、昔はワンキャラマンでも全然戦えてたけど、もうそういう時代じゃないから、 本当にヒーロープール今広くないと。広くなくても大丈夫だけど、やっぱ広い人は上手いなって思う。その一つのレーンのヒーロープールね。自分のレーンの。俺はヒーロープール開きより、いろんなレーンのロール、いろんなロールのキャラ触ってるから、どこのポジションになってもなんとか戦えるって感じだけど。そうですね。イボス SG が本当にバンピック綺麗だと思う。ちょっとモバデンにみんな依存しすぎましたね、これは。まあでも、プレイオフとか、まだ BTK あと1戦あるんかなあるから、まあ今日と今からでもなんとかなるし、プレイオフからでもなんとかなるんで頑張ってほしいです。そうですね、ジャングルの人はいろんなキャラ使えないと今きついかも。アサシンもハンターもファイタージャングルもできとかんといけん。まあでもジャングルの動き分かってたら、自分の役割分かってたらそんな難しいことではないかもしれん。ちょっとキャラのレンダーが上げるだけくらい。ナビと See you soon。
To my aid.
Legendary.
I'm burning up now, taking higher levels. I'm in a bad spot, trouble to my knees. I need a taste, sipping on heaven. You got me waiting, waiting for you. We're chasing trophies, got me ready, don't you worry. I feel the power, I'm the champion. You got me running for the glory. Good to let this go. Burning up now, nothing's gonna stop me. I'm going faster, wanna break away. I love the way it feels. It's the adrenaline, we're going all the way. 'Cause we never ever going down. You got me walking through the fire.
ちょっと
Never run from the fight, yeah, we run to the top. Never run from the fight, all the way to the top. Never run from the fight, yeah, we rise to the top. I'm on a rush now, winning, that's my focus.
あんまり熱くなさそうな気がしてきた。最後の試合か。BTK 対 See You Soon は。ちょっとね。ちょっとモバレした方がいいんじゃないかって思い始めてきちゃった。いや、ちょっと、今日はここまでにします。まあ、裏で見ます。裏では見えるけど、ちょっと配信ではいいかなって感じた。なので、終わります。明日、多分いける配信。また明日会いましょう。